afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, good midday, good whatever it is, wherever you are. And welcome, welcome. We are back at the Black Widower trial. I have my two, yeah, only Mo is kind of a Black Widow. Jamie, we don't know enough about Jamie.
Let's
Jamie is always it's always the quiet ones you have to watch out for.
let's keep it that way.
Okay, son, watch out when you go to Michigan. Make sure she doesn't write you up for a life insurance.
I enjoy being
Yeah.
a little mysterious.
Yeah, don't put too much out there. But as I said, we'll be going back to the Thomas Randolph case, and as we did yesterday, I will just not this one, put the link in the chat and put it on top of chat so you can watch the afternoon at Cells. Jamie will probably join Cell, maybe Mo for a bit, or
Yes.
Excited could be there too.
Yes.
But I really like that I can go to bed at maybe 11 instead of 4 in the morning. So I like Cell is cute.
It's
He is
eyelash
the
day,
most
but
pretty.
most of it.
He is the sexiest angel. I mean,
Yes.
Jamie's up there, but he's the one that everyone, he's our Farah.
Yeah, he brings all the boys to the yard.
He does.
And they're like,
And son, if you just had watched, you would know that we didn't start till 7 today because this is in Nevada. They are even slower than Texas. Texas was
true.
it was hurting me how slow that case was, but they don't start till 10:30.
Mhm.
So, hey Kim, Reindeer is just stopping by with a little thumbs up. C-Swep is here.
Hey,
C-Swep is
reindeer, you had to kill puppies for me. I finally get Mr. Mo to get on board with a puppy, and you had to send me the weirdo puppy guy from Japan. You just had to.
What's
oh
that?
the golden retriever guy.
Yeah. So now every puppy I look at, I'm going to turn it over and make sure there's not a zipper.
But C-Swept is right. Thank you so much, C-Swept. I really needed it today. I felt a bit down, but now I'm happy again. Shaquille Oatmeal, my second favorite name on the YouTubes.
I know, I love it.
I know.
Yeah, it's
That and Tennis Rodman, those two, and genitals. Oh my gosh.
genitals will always win, but
Yes.
the other two are great runners up. Farrell, can you ban him? Farrell isn't up yet. So, hello, Thierry. Be back later. You're probably watching the Jody trial. I know
Yes.
we're cutting a bit into Nick and David's time, but I thought we should just get together and talk about what happened yesterday. As far as I could tell, they talked to the phone guy who said, yeah, because it was voice over the internet, the phone could have problems. And that was his testimony summed up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
That's
an
all I
hour
got.
talked about how it worked.
Yeah.
And then I went to bed.
Oh. And then there
That's
was
kind of where I left.
the neighbor that heard the gunshots.
Yeah.
He basically said that they were quick. So what he was trying to get out there was that easy, like they were trying to show that it was easy for him to like stage the scene before he called the cops. So they were trying to, yeah. He even did an interview like after his testimony and said that on TV. That's what he thought happened. And then the cop was the last one, and they were just playing the interview. So.
Oh, I had sound issues. I hope they're fixed. I think it's the StreamYard because Sal has it every fifth stream he makes, he has this choppy sound. So if it's not working, I will try to refresh it and come back in.
Okay.
Well, Twisted, you know what? I like that you bug me, because that makes me want to stop even more, because I know it bugs you. So
We have oppositional defiant behavior syndrome.
Baker's eye for an eye.
yeah, it's and hey Sal, get to work. You have to go home and do something. Hey Nana, and we had, where did she go? We have Indigo here as well. Good morning, Indigo. Unicorn, hello.
Hey. Hey, Mim.
Because it wasn't the cell phone they talked about. It was the landline, but it was a landline which was hooked up to the internet line.
Yeah, I don't. It was like way back in the before times when
Yeah.
you did dial up or something.
Did they call it DSL? Søren is an electrician. He should know what it is. He doesn't know anything.
You need to come on, CERN, so you can explain to us how things work. Although, total tangent, my husband and I were watching How Things Work or How Things Are Made, and we got to see a 1996 Dell computer being made, with a floppy disk.
Yeah,
my kids were like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Well, that used to be a computer." And they're like, "Why?"
Good morning, Mim, and Carlene is here as well. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, VoIP, voice over internet protocol, I believe it is, and it was the one I don't know, bondage. Yeah, it was the bondage carrier. Hello,
know.
Paige.
Caption.
Welcome.
We'll never get old.
But I was watching, I can't remember what movie with my girls, and one of them started laughing. I said, "What? What? Look at that phone." I said, "What do you mean?" "It's a flip phone." I said, that was the hottest thing you could have back then. A little flip phone with the pull-out antenna. I probably shouldn't do this on screen. Well, Farrell's
Not with
sleeping.
us.
Hey, Josie,
My mom
welcome,
had
welcome.
that car phone where you had to attach the, antenna on the outside, and then you had to take it off when you were at the car wash. My friends were like, "Is your mom a drug dealer?" I was like, "No. She's just really cool." And it was an actual phone, like with a cord, like railed onto the
You had a battery this big, and it lasted for 15 minutes on a good day.
and it was like in a backpack. Oh my gosh.
It was the good old days.
Yeah.
But still, if you get one of those Nokia 3210 or whatever they were called, you could use it to hammer nails into the wall, and it wouldn't take any damage. But back to this case, yeah, they had the phone guy, they had the neighbor, and then they played their interrogation of him, and I really didn't think they got much out of him. He had a story, and he kept to it, and they tried to catch him out sometimes, but I think he did okay. I don't know what
this man is used to lying to a bunch of different people and keeping his story straight. I don't think a police interrogation is gonna confuse him as much as it would maybe you or me.
I didn't hear anything that was like crazy out of the ordinary,
No, I just skipped through it because I was just trying to catch up and see if there was anything. And he had I have watched a couple of interviews now, and he did great. I still don't think they are beyond reasonable doubt so far.
Well, they're supposed to show the walkthrough video today, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Salvador, I'm sorry. It's the price you pay when you dual stream. I did it with Dave, I took all the boring testimony, and he took all the great ones, and now I'm paying it forward to you. No,
Yep.
thank you so much, Sal, for helping me out.
I think though they did a lot better than most have, because you could barely hear the video was really, because he's kind of mumbling, can't really hear it, but they actually did the transcripts and are playing it like right by the video so you can read whatever.
Oh, that's good.
And I'm like, so that was probably the most annoying part, because I was trying to read everything instead of, but at least you can hear what's going on or see what's going on. Yes.
We get that sometimes, when we do the Cellbrite, the mobile phone downloads.
Mhm.
And the defense lawyers will always say that they should show the raw data, because of course the police make a report and say, well, we found this briefcase was lying on the floor in this room, and inside it was a gun, and we believe it belonged to Johnny. Let's say they have written that, and the defense lawyer said you can't write anything down and show it to the court, because that's your interpretation of the evidence. So if he's mumbling too much to be able to be understood, and they put it in text, that's the officer's interpretation of what he said. As a defense, I would probably, maybe they have talked about it before,
I think they did, because they did all the transcripts. I'm sure they went through the transcripts and were like,
yeah.
I mean, these defense lawyers seem to be on their side. I like penciled in beard better than I like semi-aggressive older guy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
them both,
because
but
I don't like his fake, oh, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
I
stick.
mean, that's as fake as a $3 bill, but
I'm just because I have the show we're gonna stream it from, watching their chat. I don't know if he will testify. 50-50. He's guilty, so he will then not give a testimony.
What? He's already said before the trial started that he was going to testify.
Oh God, this will be awesome.
He's already proclaimed that.
Do you think they'll wear the earphones up there so he can hear, or do you think they'll have like a little closed caption doodad on there?
I don't know. He testified in the first one, I believe, but he was doing interviews and crap or talking about it, and he was like, already, I'm testifying. So
I have a feeling from watching that hearing they had where he started yelling at the judge, he has the I'm the smartest guy in the room syndrome.
He does.
And that's often a mistake to take the stand if you are the smartest guy in the room, because you can tell everything. We saw it with the nagging nannies. Every time they were pressed, they were sitting there and trying to make up a story so they didn't make him seem as not a good guy, but not a murderer.
Yeah.
And it's because they think we can outsmart the courtroom, and it's often a problem because you just get caught in all your lies.
Yes, just as a Mo tip, and this is life advice, not that usually I'm preempted with not life advice. If you are on stand, do not take a simple question and try to outthink the lawyer. Just answer it, for the love of God, because you look stupid and you irritate me. And I feel like that's the more important thing, is you irritate me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, would you say that he was, a nice guy? Or is it possible that taking out his earbuds or his, hearing out devices would make it hard for him to hear? Don't overthink it. Just
it depends. It's like, just don't.
Ma'am.
No, because all men are not vain at all and would love to have hearing aids just for the fun of it. We really, really like to see that our body is degrading. That's something men like to show off. So every man would love a fake hearing aid.
for getting a damn perm outside of the 80s and freaking coming to America, okay? He's already like on the psycho, scale. So we don't need to go that far. You do not need to help in this man's, level of weirdness. We have the perm evidence, okay?
Hey, John, they were asking for you in over on Nicholas and David's chat.
Yes.
They were praising you for the big work you do on the Discord. The problem is doing that and accidentally saying it with the kids. So when they step out of the car and say, "Hey, Mister Too Tight Pants," or "Lady who should wear a bra,"
I try-ish. Like when I try. For the most part.
Hi, Irish. No, Nicholas said you had made a really great effort to make his Discord
Yeah. You
have
keep all
some
the channels
content.
going.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I can barely figure it out.
And hello, Fedorowski. And as always, as I say each and every day, if you just need those 20 minutes where you just relax, go to Fedorowski's channel and watch some of his videos. He had a really interesting one yesterday about, I would say it's some watermill turned into a store. And again, the production value is really, really high. Not like these things we do. It's more coupled together with shoestring and prayers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my friend called me today and he said, "Oh, you're doing great." I said, What are you talking about?" "Oh, your channel has really grown." I said, "Nah, I think it's been stagnant for the last couple of weeks." I said, "Well, you're 7 away from 500." I said, "What?" Last time I checked, I was on 555. So thank you, everyone who have liked and subscribed.
Really?
And,
Yay.
and everyone should go to Mo's channel and like and subscribe that. Jamie doesn't have a
That would be
channel
awesome.
because Jamie is too awesome to have a channel.
Yes, we share custody.
I don't mind. It's you guys do a lot of work and I don't feel like doing any of that stuff.
Son, he's from Norway. He's not Swedish. It's the
Oh.
Swedish people who are weird. Yeah, I like when they can still do traditional craft work, and because those small farms, they can't survive just being a farm. But when they can try and keep the old traditions and show how things were made, and then make money on the tourists, I think that's a great way to keep it alive, or else we would lose all of it. Man with ever-changing hair. Was it uh, a wig, or did he just get haircuts often? So you just like the Americans, everything outside America is just outside. If it's
Welcome.
in Asia or Europe, it's the same.
Fair.
Yeah.
Welcome to American status, Sarn. We'll accept you.
Hey, little peanut. That's a good name too.
She was on sales last night.
Oh.
So
Well,
I'm glad she's joining us.
I didn't stay till the end because it's late and I'm old.
I know, but you always know to people that you don't see very often. So
yeah, but I'm not sure I've seen that name so many times before. So yeah. Oh, they make candles too. Yeah. What do the candles smell of? A bit
Ghosts.
like surströmming, or because
No.
I believe the goop candle smells a bit like rotten fish.
Oh Lord.
Hey, Danny T. Welcome, welcome.
That woman has gone off the rails. There is, there is such a thing as too much therapy. I'm just,
I, as I say with all the OnlyFans and ethot and stuff like that, don't hate the player. You must hate the game. It's all. Why do people pay for that stuff? Uh, 24 karat gold wo- solo women pleasing device. Why?
true.
I bet the one in plastic you can buy at the convenience store is just as good.
Note to self: I have a for-profit charity. It's called Mo's House, and it 100% of the profits go to Mo's House.
It's Norway, yeah. Mysost, yeah. That's a strange. Yeah, you probably Norwegians has this brown cheese. I don't know what you make it with, but I think it's tastes sweet. It's kind of weird when you're expecting a piece of cheese and it has this sweet taste. It's yeah.
Given the prior uh, context of what we were talking about, I don't know that I want to try this cheese. No offense to anyone in any country. It's just
Yeah, but
prior.
the cheese is great, but the first time you eat it, you're thinking, because normally I take my cheese with a little mustard on, and it's okay if it tastes a bit like cheese, but it's sweet. It's weird. Yeah, the candles from Goop allegedly smells like Gwyneth Paltrow's clam, and that's why I think it has the kind of the surströmming smell. And if you don't know what surströmming is, that's the fermented fish you can't open inside your house because the smell will never go away.
God invented soap. I'm just going to throw that out there. Hygiene is important.
Yeah, even if you're famous.
You're welcome, America and the world.
I was watching Destiny, what's the channel? Destiny said, and she had the. Did any of you watch Orange is the New Black? No.
No.
Okay, then it doesn't matter, because one of the actors from that was talking about how she had hooked up with a married guy, and she went to
Oh.
buy him a boat, and and she made it a Twitter video to talk about how his wife got angry, and there was some talk about some salad being tossed. Don't Google that.
Interesting.
Yeah, because
Um,
he liked it and she didn't mind it, and she did that on Twitter.
look, y'all, as your internet mother, there are some things that mommy doesn't want to know and you shouldn't put on Twitter.
Yeah.
Y'all can learn on y'all can let your freak flag fly. Just don't tell mommy about it and don't tell the world.
What's up, Rossman Rants? And it's not really
Hello.
cheese; it's made from leftovers from making regular cheese, basic caramel. That's why it tastes funny. But
All right, I'm going to have to. I won't research the blue waffle, but I will research that.
yeah, mysost. It's yeah, it's kind of like a condensed milk.
Ooh, well, I like condensed milk.
Yeah, and but it's brown and it looks like you shouldn't eat it.
Well,
Twisted, I can tell you that more than once when we try to do a Saturday stream or a normal stream, I say, well, I'm just going to do the thing. And then I start the intro. And then 45 seconds later, I say, well, I'm just going to do it again. And this time I'll press record. So welcome to the internet, booming abound.
oh, believe me, I finished that entire dog video and realized that I hadn't turned on my mic, so I had to do it twice. And that has been today.
Yeah, and I put up a video without sound for 14 days where I'm just sitting here talking. So welcome to Boomer City. Everyone does it at some point. And let's get going, stupid. It's 3 minutes too. Yeah, hygiene is important, but hyphen is importanter. You can't be more right. Do you
Oh, did
remember?
try to have an argument. Never mind. Jeez.
If you remember the one without the teeth, who became very religious, it was that actor who talked about stuff with a married man on the internet, and how she would get his wife thrown in prison. I don't think I think she's a method actor when she played a druggie in Orange Is the New Black. So yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, I think it's an acquired taste, but we have
Okay.
very different things.
Gaming caramel, you're kind of losing me here. Like,
Yeah,
but I like
but
candied bacon, so you know.
it's not that bad. What?
Oh, so when I had my oh gosh, what did I call it? I'm having a moment. Stitch, floss, and goss stream. I mentioned that I don't do like the period dramas like the Regency is and stuff because humanity hadn't invented deodorant and they just peed outside and in doorways and such. And I'm surprised the human race even no. That would be a no. There's nothing romantic. No smexiness, never.
No.
Hard pass.
More boomer than boom town. It's better
I'm
than the
going to have
people
to
who
buy
bake
one.
bake the placenta into stuff and eat that. I would rather have a candle. In Denmark, we not so much now because we've become a little bit woke too. Formerly, it was really common that if you had a we celebrate our 18th birthday because then you can drink. We never do it before we turn 18, and we can drive and stuff like that. And it was normal that the birthday cake is in shape of a person, and then you had, if it was a woman, you have some rather large tracts of land on this cake, or if it's a man, you could have a trouser snake on the cake. So we had a lot of uh, it was normal, and it's for every party we had back in maybe in the 90s when people turned 18. There were some lewd cakes, and it was really big back then that people wanted those for birthdays or for bachelorette parties and stuff like that.
That sounds hilarious.
Yeah, but it's just, again, it's the different mentality because today the kids would think, oh, that's too much. And I was with my kid. We have a great beach really close by, and we were down there and some years ago. But a girl was topless, and one of my girls said, "Oh, look, she's topless." I said, well, when I was younger, everyone was topless at the beach, more or less. The ones you like to watch and the ones you didn't like to watch. But it has changed too because people are getting more afraid of bodies, I think. Well, Nick, and because I need the Kansas update. I'm not sure. Kansas, Kansas, Kansas. Is that a trial Nick is covering? Yeah, and that's the big problem. That's the first thing you always do if you go live is go to all your tabs and see, am I live? All the places I hope I'm live. And why is this not going live? It's annoying me. I just pictured something else with period dramas.
No, those are like Regency, not the other way.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the weird panda one where she turned red when she got angry.
Well,
Sorry.
you work in a law office. You have heard worse than this.
Probably true.
That's what I said. I was, as I turned off my camera, I took a bite of my lunch and he talked about placentas, cooking them, and I went, ooh, I almost like,
Yeah. What are we, the
I want that
Kardashians?
Come for the trial, stay for the craziness.
Yeah.
Hey, Cindy Lou Wood. That name. V's and double V's. No. What do we call this letter? W. Yeah.
W.
We call them V and double V. So it's really hard to pronounce for me. That's one of the ones I always
Cindy
get stuck
Lou
on.
Woot. Cindy Lou Woot.
Ooh. We have pictures. I better put the boost on because this cord is always really low. And maybe put on the sound too. Is there a raid on the newspaper?
Yeah, I think it's a case that maybe Kurt was following or someone where it was an illegal. There wasn't a probable cause affidavit, but
Where they just made all. Yeah, I saw Nick had something about that too. I think. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's really, yeah, very, very. I'm sorry to say, but as a person who trusts the government 100%, maybe 110%, and my government would never do anything wrong, but watching the American politics system and the letter alphabet thingies, what they go around doing, you get a nasty feeling. It's I don't like what we're seeing.
It's almost, yeah. It's if I were going to, be a little confused and be a little scared of my government, I would be confused. But they know what they're doing. So
yeah, we trust them. And close our prison. That's why we're not wearing pants on stream.
Never. That's why I'm just a torso.
Well, if the afterbirth is in the, if it's shaped like something, it's okay. But
dear Lord, just say.
Oh my God! I'm taking the boot off.
Okay. That's it. Black Plague for 2024 with Asteroid as running mate.
Exactly.
Hey,
David. Hola, David, we should say. ¿Cómo está?
Oh, God damn it.
Well, you're never happy.
How are we to know they're finally going to use good audio? They never do.
And when they start talking, it goes away. No.
We're just going to start the other game because it's been overnight. Thank you, sir.
You just always swear the testimony about giving this action will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Testify?
I do.
Thank you. Please be seated. Please state your name for the record.
Clifford, C-L-I-F-F-O-R-D, MOG, M-O-G-G.
Thank you very much. Detective Mom, please welcome you.
Thank you. Your Honor, we ended yesterday's proceedings. We hadn't played like the last 8 or so minutes of what's been admitted as states 314. So we're going to, with the court's permission, finish that and then I'll resume questioning.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have his property? Yeah. All right.
Oh, that case I don't like.
Can't go find this apartment that
Yeah.
Mike lives at. They don't know the gate. They don't know the gate.
Looks like a kid from the Christmas Story all grown
Yeah,
up.
if you can.
Yeah. If it's like yesterday, you can take a nap. We'll call you.
Sounds
Get you
good.
back to your house and we can see how long it's gonna be.
They're probably going to show the walkthrough today.
You can make whatever arrangements you need to make, and we can give you a ride wherever you need to go if you need that. Are there any questions you have for us right now? What's going on? Obviously, we don't know yet what's happening back there at your house, but we'll call the guys and find out what's going on as we're on our way over there.
What in the heck is going on?
They're watching the interview and talking about taking him home.
Oh,
The cars
Okay.
and stuff will still be there. You won't be able to use them or what? Won't be able to use them in the car. Oh, if everything's photographed and they're done processing your car, we can't see if we can get it to you. Do you have a place you can go for the night? No, not really. Just go to a hotel or something. Because you're not going to want to stay there. I don't want to stay there ever again.
That's not
Is there other family here in town that? My family, no, there's her daughter. I've got to get a hold of her, but. Is there calls that you need to make right now, maybe, to get a hold of her, or anything we can help you with? No, I probably ought to do it myself. Okay. Well, let's just go out here real quick and get a couple things done, and then we'll get you together, and we'll head over there and start getting some of this stuff done so that you can.
I was just thinking about, did he have curlers in this morning?
Oh, it looks like he had a body
What we'll
wave
probably do
almost.
is, we'll lock the
So, like
house
a-
up and
it's
see
Well, he
loose
what's
likes
or
to
going on.
get perms, so.
And then,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It looks like he had a perm. Oh, for the love of
let you make
for
arrangements
the love
then
of all the
to
Cheetos.
get things moved out or whatever you need to do. How long does all this take, like, I guess, to make funeral arrangements and stuff? Well, what'll happen is, this evening, once we're done, or we're to a point where we're finished processing inside the house, and, your wife can be, removed from the house, and we'll get him out of there. They'll go to the coroner's office, and then, probably tomorrow morning, there'll be an autopsy of your wife. And then once the autopsy is completed, then the medical examiner will release your wife to the funeral home that picked her up this evening, and we'll be able to give you that.
This interview is in 2008, right after they haven't even taken the body of the wife out of the house yet. So it's in 2008. You have to remember this is a retrial. He was convicted in 2017, I believe it was, and it was struck down in 2020 because they used too much of prior bad acts to get him convicted the first time. And I think this is a problem in this case today, that they can't bring in that he was also in court for the murder of his second wife, which he was found not guilty in, but they talked a lot about it to prejudice the jury. But this is from 2008, and if you watch the thumbnail, you can see he had some nice long ponytails, and back then he had a perm, and now he has a fluffy 70-year-old lady's hairdo.
Information. Coroner will probably also be at the house, and they'll want to talk to you. But they'll be able to give you a little bit more detail about which funeral home is going to take your wife tonight to the coroner's office, and then how you can go about making arrangements for your wife tomorrow once the autopsy is completed. Colleen's like 5 months pregnant right now. Is she married? What's her husband do? Selling down at the casinos. How long have they been married? Quite a while. You better talk to him first. That's what I better do. We can get you over to your house and at least get you your phone and see if we can get some of this stuff started for you. Any other questions you have right now? I'm just run out here and make a quick phone call, and then I'll get you, and we'll go up and find the apartments where Michael's staying, and I'll get you back over to the house. You can actually, the guard at the place probably can tell you the apartments. Okay, and we'll try to do that once we get there. We'll just talk to him. We're not gonna go to the apartment with you. And then I'll get you back over to your house. You said your cell phone or your wife's cell phone, one of the others inside the house? Yeah, I think so. Okay. I don't have mine, we took it, or. Who? The officer? I don't know, I've seen it somewhere, somebody had it.
Okay, it might be in a bag, there's a bag of, they said your property, I don't know what's in it, I didn't look at it, but it's in the car right downstairs.
So we'll give you all that stuff, and then if your phone's in there, you can make whatever calls we need to. We'll assist you however we can. Yeah, I would need it because it has all the phone numbers in it, because I don't know my card or anything. Okay.
Does Mike wear cowboy boots?
Sharon gave me some cowboy boots the other day.
Okay.
Her husband died, cowboy boots are, I don't know if they're cowboy boots, like dressy boots.
Okay. And if he were wearing dark brown gardening gloves, is that something he would have brought, or do you think that's something you might have found around your house? That's something you would have around your house?
There's a lot of gloves around my house, I don't know.
You know, like cotton, they're just a cheap old cotton gardening gloves, they're just pretty white fingers.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think ours are, I mean, we had them there before, but I don't think he would have got them there.
But what about this mask? Any idea, would he have brought that with him, or do you have a mask around your house?
I probably do have some masks in the, they're not like that though, they're more like a motorcycle. I got them for Christmas one year that kind of slide. They're like DuPont or something would make, like, I want to say Kevlar, but that's a rubber. Like what? The next? Yeah, like diving stuff, like diving gear. Well, yeah, it could be like that, yeah. Because I got this is somebody gave it to me for a Christmas present one year, that's a bike thing, but, and then I used to have them on the back of it, I had a, foot chest with, it had its own air hoses and stuff, and jacks and little portable ears and stuff you'd have if you got stuff you'd be talking and four-wheel drive with extra clothes and stuff, and there might be a mask in there, but if you have inside mover and stuff. And it would be, I think it's for a long time.
All right, let's just step out here for a minute and come back. You use the bathroom?
I do, actually, all right.
Hey, Texas Jen, welcome. You just joined us for Tech Hour, where we're discussing which tech we should use.
I know.
Detective Mog,
I was
after
getting
that interview concluded.
That is a lot of talking without a lawyer.
What did you do with Mr. Randolph?
So we allowed Mr. Randolph to use the bathroom. Then we took him to the Painted Desert residence area off of Van Road, and I believe it's Centennial, the 95 in that area. He pointed it out to us. We pulled up, spoke to the security guard at the gate, who told us that he was familiar with Michael Miller and where Mr. Miller's relatives lived in the complex. And that was as much as we did at Painted Desert that night, and then we took him back to the residence.
And the residence being the Rancho Santa Fe one?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, there was discussion in the course of the interview where I think Mr. Randolph mentioned that it had taken like 20 or 30 minutes for officers to get inside the house.
Yes,
Are you familiar with the 911 in this case?
I am.
And what does that indicate to you in terms of timing?
So I listened to the 911 call and watched the timer on the call. If the call comes in at 8:45 p.m. approximately.
Just for the record, I'm going to object to this. It's not accurate. It's in 54 seconds. And if he's going to testify, I really think the 911 call should either be in so the jury can hear it, or that he can get the numbers accurate, because they keep saying 8:45. It's not 8:45.
What was the time?
8:44 and 54 seconds.
Okay, so
That's
6 seconds
That's
short of
8:45.
8:45.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's 8:45
And
approximately.
from your review of that call, can you hear on the call officers entering?
Yes,
And is it less than 30 minutes?
yes.
Now, after you had that interview with Mr. Randolph, were there things in the interview that struck you as an investigator,
Yes, there was.
such as?
So at the very beginning, when Mr. Randolph described how he had met Mr. Miller, that he was in a convenience store, that Mr. Miller was in front of him purchasing some beer, that Mr. Miller confides in him, that the clerk is always IDing him or carding him when he purchases beer, and that he does this all the time and he's always getting carded, but today he forgot his ID. To me, I figured that if the clerk knew you enough to card you every time.
I'm asking about what struck him as an investigator, not for the truth of the matter asserted, Your Honor.
He can absolutely testify to what he was thinking.
That if the clerk knew you enough to card you every time, that if they've carded you today and you're back in tomorrow, they may remember that you have been carded. Also, Mr. Miller didn't look anything like he was 21 years old. Then after that, when Mr. Randolph purchased or was going to purchase the beer for Mr. Miller said, "No, you keep that one. I want this one," and picked up a different beer. So then the purchase is made, Mr. Randolph and Mr. Miller leave, and then Mr. Randolph describes how he sees Mr. Miller walking down the street and decides that he's going to pick him up and give him a ride. And it just struck me as odd that this is a person you met less than 5 minutes ago, and you're giving him a ride home, and now you're going to sit in front of his house and talk to him for an hour. So after that, the next thing that I thought was odd was that Mr. Randolph told us that he had hired Mr. Miller to do some odd jobs around the house, and that he was always asking him for money, and he would loan him money, or he would do work in exchange for money, and that Mrs. Randolph was upset with the fact that he was always loaning him money. Mrs. Randolph even made mention that Mr. Miller or Mr. Randolph needed to find some male friends. I thought that was a little odd. Then
Why?
Mr. Randolph mentions that
Because
Mr.
he was
Miller is
confused why he was
probably
going to the
not the
post
best
office.
worker, but he continues to employ him anyway.
Male
Because
friend.
he's
Then
maybe
the
a
next
nice
thing
guy
that
that
struck
want to
me
give
as
a guy who's
unusual
down
was
on his
that
luck a chance.
Mr. Randolph was leaving town.
Hold on there, 1 second.
This is just becoming a narrative. It's not question and answer, it's just a narrative of what he thinks was on.
I like that the defense is
Well, I mean, it is a long answer, I'll say that, but it is what struck him about the interview as an investigator. that
Yeah, but
caused
he's
him to
telling a
concern.
story. He's not saying
So, I mean, I
the way
can
they
break it
picked
up
up
and
beer,
say
the way
anything
they
else every time,
became
but-
friends, the way that
I don't get.
The next thing I thought that was odd was that
Yeah, Ralphie.
Mr. Randolph
Go
and his
ahead.
wife purportedly were leaving the next day to go to Utah. And I believe he said that Mr. Miller was aware of that. Then he was with Mr. Miller approximately 3 hours before the incident happens.
So let me
Exactly,
pause you
and maybe
there.
he's just a
You
guy who
mentioned,
likes to help
that,
people who's
according
down
to
on their
Mr.
luck.
Randolph,
Yeah.
Mr.
Buying
Miller
them a
was
beer,
aware
giving them a
that
lift. That's
Mr.
not
and
illegal.
Mrs. Randolph were going
Skills.
to leave town.
I believe that's what he told me.
Why did that strike you
Exactly.
as strange in terms of this case?
Because if somebody was going to leave town and you were aware of it, why would you break into their house this evening? Why
Because he
wouldn't
was
you
told
wait
there's a large
until they
sum
were out
of
town
money in the house.
when there was no chance that they would come home?
Did you, do you remember in the interview,
Because criminals
Mr.
always
Randolph
make
talking
sense.
about
Yeah,
how
they
he
really know
always
what they're doing.
carries a loaded weapon on
Again,
his
remember
person?
he
I do.
withdrew a large
But
amount of
I believe he
money
says in the
on the
interview
bank
that he just
that
happened
day.
to not have
Yeah.
it on him that night.
That's correct.
Was that like part of was that also an impression that you had with regard to the interview?
It was something I noted,
Leading.
but the fact that he was going to a casino, I mean, he did tell us that he was under the impression he could carry a gun anywhere because of reciprocal laws between carrying concealed weapons in Utah and Nevada. But it was something that I did note.
Now, in the interview, it looks like you actually sketch out a diagram of the layout of the Randolph residence.
I did.
And he points out various things he was doing or sort of how this interaction with Mr. Miller played out during the course of the interview.
Yes.
May I approach, Your Honor? Sir, I'm showing you this been marked as State's Proposed 214. Do you recognize what that is?
I do.
What is it?
This is a crime scene diagram drawn by our crime scene investigators.
Now, you sketched yours by hand during the interview, but does this exhibit fairly and accurately depict the layout of the Randolph residence?
It does.
State moves to admit 214.
No objection.
Okay, 214 will be admitted.
I do that to Farrell every night and every day, my time.
Going to do 2, Your Honor? Thank you.
Could maybe turn it around.
Detective Ma, can you see that on your monitor?
Yes.
Okay, can you just overall orient the members of the jury, like where the garage is, where the front door is, where the backyard of the house is?
So the garage is where the two vehicles are illustrated. That would be on the north side of the house. The master bedroom and the family room area, kitchen and all that is on the south side of the house. As soon as you enter the residence from the garage, there's a door there.
Because
immediately to the
You
left
talk too much of it.
is a washer dryer. Then as you pass the washer dryer, the next room there is what I believe was an office. Then just down from that is another room that Mr. Randolph referred to as his drum room or his music room. Then at the end
He
of the
has a
hallway
drum
on the
room?
south side of the residence is the master bedroom. Just north.
Yeah,
of
he
the
had
master
drum room where they
bedroom,
went
as you're
into
coming
when
back north in the
the
hallway.
girlfriend was over there.
On the right-hand side
Uh,
would be the bathroom.
Her
Then
girlfriend,
there's a hallway
who's,
which leads into the living room
Oh.
area, the kitchen,
the
and then there's
casino
another
lady.
den family room
I'd need to beat the hell out of
on
some
the
drums
north
when all
side
those
of the
old
house
videos
near the
around.
front door.
Okay.
And then the front door is located there in the living room.
Okay, so here's the front door, right?
Yes,
And then this is the garage area.
that's correct.
This is the location of Mrs. Randolph,
Yes,
and this is the master bedroom right here.
correct.
This is the drum room or the music room.
Yes,
That's a bathroom.
yes,
And then there's sort of an office type room here.
correct.
There's a door leading into the house, like from the garage into the house at that location.
Yes,
And then this is the location of Mr. Miller, right?
correct.
Okay. Did Mr. Randolph,
Is it last day today, Jamie?
did he describe how
Ooh.
Mrs. Randolph entered the
Greatest
the
day of the
house?
month.
He did.
Can you kind of orient us on the diagram how he described her
Sal,
entering
I'd
the
actually be
house?
okay with that because I'm
So
a
as they
giant
arrived
rock
home,
fan,
he pulled into the
and if
driveway,
he
which is
becomes
on the
Neil
north
Peart,
side
I'm
of
gonna be okay
the
with it.
garage. He opened
Can
up the
just make like
garage.
the Kelly family.
Mrs. Randolph was the
Force all
passenger.
your kids to play
She stepped
instruments.
out of the vehicle and went through the garage into
You
the
probably
door
don't
that
know.
leads into the
Jamie's
house
too young to know the
and into the residence.
I think if you, there's a mouse there that might.
The Kelly family.
Give you a little bit of an arrow. Okay,
This is the driveway right here.
okay,
When Mr. Randolph arrived home with his wife, she was in the passenger seat. He was driving. He stopped in the driveway to allow her to get out because there wasn't enough room for her and him to exit the vehicle because of some shelving that was on the side of the garage. So he allows her to exit. She walks through the garage, through the open garage door, and then goes into the residence through this door right here.
okay. Now, Mr. Randolph follows that, according to him, that same path into the house.
Yes.
Okay, and then
Dogs are like,
he
"Mom's trying to leave
describes
the house."
seeing a
will
figure
not
or
happen.
something kind of move.
She's talking
from
about
one
going out again.
Side of the hallway to the other.
That's the secret.
Correct.
Jamie doesn't
Can you
actually leave
point
the
that
house.
out on the diagram for the jurors?
The dog makes her
The
less.
way Mr. Randolph describes this is as he parks his vehicle, he gets out, he opens up the door leading into the house. As he stands about right here in the doorway area, the hallway is illuminated by a light that was right here on a table. And as he looked down the hallway, he stated that he believed he saw someone jump from the bathroom area here across the hallway toward the drum room. And then he told me that maybe it was just he saw someone peek around the corner of the drum room right here.
Okay. Now, where did Mr. Randolph describe shooting Mr. Miller on our diagram?
So after seeing the movement, Mr. Randolph says that he steps into this bedroom here and then described, and I later saw this shoe rack. It's a hanging rack that's in the closet right here, that he reached into that closet and stepped into the room as he saw a person coming down the hallway toward him. He reached into the closet, grabbed his Makarov 9mm pistol, which was loaded, and an extra clip of ammunition for the pistol. And as he stepped into the doorway here, he stated that he was confronted by this person whom at that point he said he didn't know who it was, and that this person had a mask on, and that the mask, they bumped into each other, and I believe he said the mask kind of partially moved up on his face.
And did he describe then at that time that he started firing at the intruder?
He said that they basically cleared a little bit of distance, so created a little bit of space between the two of them. And then he started to draw his pistol up and he began to fire at this person who was in his house. And he continued to fire as this person moved down the hallway here toward the garage door. Once the person went through the door, he continued firing while the person was in the garage on the floor.
Okay. In the hallway, on the walls, did you see any evidence of like secondary strikes or any ballistic evidence, anything to indicate to you that there was a shooting that occurred in the hallway?
I saw no bullet impacts
There was
in the
a
walls of
bonfire.
the hallway. The only cartridge case that I saw was on the floor near this doorway down here leading into the garage, and I believe that's marked with number 3.
Yeah, so it's inside, but it's right at the base of the doorway of the door that goes between the garage and the house.
That's correct.
Okay. Other than that, no cases, no strikes, nothing to indicate any kind of shooting occurred in that hallway?
Nothing that would indicate that a shooting occurred in the hallway based on my familiarization with semi-automatic handguns.
Okay. Did he, in the interview, describe to you, did he describe to you where he locates the gun that is used to kill Sharon?
He said that the gun, ultimately he finds the gun underneath Mr. Miller's person, I don't recall if he said he found it in his sweatshirt, or if he found it in his waistband, or if he was just lying on top of it. But the one thing,
It's the best day so far in this trial. It's like they spent 3 days to get the act together and then turn up the mics, because it wasn't great the other days, but today it's really really great. And Mo, you do a lot of sketching on your murder board.
Yes.
Is this just me, or is this house not to scale, or is this the largest cars in the world? The cars is more than, if you put
They're the
the
giantest cars ever.
put the back
What
end
is
of
wrong with you?
the car at the end of the house, or the end wall of the house, and it would reach the kitchen. I'm just wondering how I'd like to see this walkthrough video.
Well, what my problem is that functionality is a big thing for me, especially this past year. Why are you going to have a garage with a bunch of crap? You either have a garage for crap or a garage for cars. You
Yeah.
usually don't have both.
Mhm.
So if you have a garage for cars, then your crap cannot be on a shelf to where you have to back out to let someone in. No. If I'm your wife and I can't get in because it's raining, because we have crap in the. Oh, hell no. I'm going full Medea, ripping those shelves out, and my fluffy ass is getting in well, it's Arizona, when it's dust storming or like 800 bajillion degrees hot.
Yeah, and again, it's just that I'm not calling shenanigans on this one till I have seen the photos, but I know, as Matt said, Americans, you like your cars way too big, but a car that reaches from the den to the kitchen, it could be that they draw the house a little bit small to indicate that he was right on top of her the second he stepped through the door. I'm just feeling I like the Mo saying shenanigans. There's a little bit of shenanigans going on here.
Mhm.
Well, those old Cadillacs, you could have your family in one end, a pool in the middle, and your mistress in the other end, and your wife and your mistress would never meet.
Y'all, I'm telling you, if they still sold station wagons where some of the kids could be way in the back and with the, bench seat in the front, so Mr. Mo and I could be working on, kid number 7 in the front, if we could ever stay awake for, listen, drive-ins are, once you have children, you can't stay awake past 8 o'clock. I don't know what they were thinking. But
Thank
seriously.
Thank you so much, Shelley. And
Yeah,
don't worry
thank you,
about me.
everyone.
I'm fat enough to begin with. I don't need any more candy, but thank you so much for supporting all of these other people, because they show up and I only pay in exposure. So I'm exposing myself to them before the show and after the show.
Don't.
Shelley
Yeah.
is amazing.
But thank you so much for supporting people.
Yeah,
Farrell, please clip the hell out of that. And
please. And thank
here's
you
Cheddar.
for getting Lefty
Yes,
where we
thank
need
you.
to get him to go.
Yeah. You could fit three bodies, a shotgun, and the crew who should be digging in the swamps in New Jersey. Because, but let's see how this goes.
that was odd was he looked in a couple of bags.
It's beyond the scope of the question.
So I'll rephrase. Let me ask this question. There is in this first bedroom here, by Sharon
Yeah,
Randolph.
we used to sleep in the
There's
back
an
of the
item of
trunk when
evidence.
we drove.
Are you familiar with what that item was
I am.
and what was there?
That's a 38 caliber snub nose revolver. It's got about a 2.5-inch barrel, I believe.
Okay. And
Yes,
according to
Cheddar, I love you
Mr.
too.
Randolph, he locates that gun
Y'all, I am just looking
at some point when he's
Stop.
administering aid to Sharon.
That's correct.
Okay. So according to Mr. Randolph, the intruder abandoned that gun at some point.
Yes,
Okay. And then proceeded down the hallway.
yes,
Now, later in the interview, he describes discovering a gun in the vicinity of Mr. Miller.
yes,
And so there's a second gun as well, right?
correct.
And there's actually a third gun if you count the one that Mr. Randolph had.
Yes.
What does Mr. Randolph say he did with the gun more closely associated to the area of Mr. Miller?
So after he took the gun from the area of Mr. Miller, he carried that gun into the residence through the door. And then at this bedroom doorway here, he said he tossed it into the room. I believe he said he was aiming for the trash can, but it could have landed somewhere else. That pistol was found lying on top of some clothing, which was on top of a black suitcase in this room near the front part of this closet.
Okay. So according to Mr. Randolph, the intruder, Mr. Miller, was attempting to exit the residence in the direction of the garage. Would that be fair?
Yes.
From your observations of the residence, did it appear that there were other areas of the house where you could exit the residence?
Yes.
Where would those have been located?
The front door located right here, and then the back double doors over here.
Okay. I know you did.
Welcome to all the Vikings. Thank you, Niklas, for sending them over. And if you're not familiar with this case, this is the retrial of convicted of murdering his sixth wife. And he was given the big final judgment, the DP. We can't say the word on YouTube. You can probably figure it out. But they had to have a retrial because they had too much prior bad acts in as evidence. So he's on trial again, and right now it's the officer who did the interview with Mr. Thomas Randolph, and he's talking about what was on the crime scene.
Didn't have the scene responsibilities, but you mentioned, I think on yesterday, about there was ransacking, or there was evidence of ransacking at the residence.
I didn't see evidence of ransacking in
Hey,
the
Tootly.
hallway area or the
Thank you so much.
living room area that I went into
I haven't seen
initially.
your name
Okay.
before.
I later walked through the scene.
Did you, in walking through the scene, did it appear that the house had been ransacked at all?
No.
What did you see
Hey, Farrell.
in the master bedroom in terms of whether or not there had been any displacement, or how would you describe
Get
how
a
that
room.
looked?
So when I first walked into the master bedroom, this is after I completed the interview with Mr. Randolph, I noticed that there was a couple of drawers pulled out of a dresser in the bedroom, and that I believe there was a bra just like hanging over the edge. But when I looked at the drawers were almost perfectly aligned, as if you were to pull them out just a few inches, not far out enough where you would be sticking your hand in there right then. It didn't appear that anything in the drawers was disturbed, and there was nothing lying on the floor. There was a cabinet, I believe, that was partially open, but again, I didn't see any.
Oh, I should maybe say the wife was killed by a guy who was then killed by Thomas Randolph. And it's alleged that Thomas Randolph hired this guy to kill, I can't say kill, to unalive his wife to get the insurance money. That's the state's theory. He had, I believe, about 100,000 on a life insurance for this wife. He got a life insurance of about 600,000 for wife number 2, who also passed in a shooting accident. It happens a lot around him.
Yeah.
things
Why
strewn
tend
around.
to not stay alive? I don't mean to laugh, but come on, y'all. Like after
Yeah,
number 3, I think you just give up and maybe say, "Hey, it's not
yeah.
the sport for me."
Don't go to the gun cabinet too often.
The room pulled out of drawers, tossed on the floor. I found a jewelry box that had some jewelry still in the bottom of it, and I believe a piece or two in the top part that was sitting in a laundry basket. I just thought that was odd.
Why?
And then as I went into the drum room, I saw the
Yeah.
same thing in there. There were a couple drawers that were pulled open,
Well,
but it didn't appear that anything within those drawers.
if this guy knows where things are kept, he's not going to ransack a whole lot because
Well, yeah.
he knows where things are.
Exactly. I was just thinking that because I was like, he's been there. He knows where things are. Like, I guarantee he's not going through the whole house. He knows exactly what he's going to get, and he's out.
Yeah. Kind of seems
Yeah,
normal to me, but
and again, it seems odd. It seems strange. It seems odd. Why? Why
Yeah,
did it
tell me
seem
why.
strange? I hope the
because he
defense will go
interviewed
into
every
that.
single one of them old ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the
That's why
biddies.
I didn't like this guy from when they were letting him do that, because they're like, well, I felt like he said this and it was weird. And I was like, why did they let them do that? Because it's weird to you, but stay with the facts of like what he said versus what happened. Not like, well, I feel like because he looked this way, that was a little weird.
Yeah.
You know. Anyways.
Yep. Probably if it's small enough, but again, the problem in this case was she had a lot of friends who didn't like this guy, and they all ran to the police and told that one of them had she didn't like him because he didn't answer her question about sports.
Yeah.
The man is using aids and didn't have them in, and she couldn't believe he couldn't hear her without his hearing aids in. Yeah, that was said in trial. How?
Ridiculous.
It's yeah. He just looked like a killer, and
He
it's
did.
yeah.
I mean, in all fairness, I will give the state he did get perms on the regular. Well, okay, body waves. I mean, ladies of the 80s, you know.
Yeah.
So in
Yep.
their defense, there was evidence.
And again, it's just so far there hasn't been any physical evidence. There is a problem with his recollection about how the shooting happened, because there's some shell casings that's not where they're supposed to be, but we haven't got there yet. We spent a day and a half listening to retirement ladies talking about how they didn't like him because they felt like his wife was depressed. She didn't say she was depressed. She didn't say he was mean to her. Nothing. They just felt it, and that was evidence.
Maybe she was depressed because everybody hated her new man before they even met him.
Yeah.
Every one of her friends, before they even met the guy, were like, this is crazy.
Yeah. It's yeah, you didn't miss much, MLS. Just that American cars are really big. They're more than half the house in size.
This was disturbed. One of the cabinets on that dresser was open,
please.
and there was
And go and do
two
the
items,
same
I don't
with
recall
him.
what they were, lying on the floor in front of that dresser. But it almost appeared to me that they had been placed there and not just thrown
True.
onto the floor.
True.
Sorry, it almost appeared to me.
I know.
It's again the retelling of 15-year-old facts that you have thought about, and now it all seems odd.
Based on, I'll lay some foundation.
Okay.
Detective Mogg, prior to working homicide, where were you assigned at Metro?
So I was assigned as a patrol officer first, And during that time, I investigated numerous burglaries. Then I went to the career criminal section after that, and I was responsible for locating criminals. Then I was assigned to the robbery section. And when I was assigned to the robbery section, I was responsible for conducting investigations of home invasions, where people were home at the time, where force was used to make entry, and where items were searched
Why are
for
we
by
explaining?
suspects.
I think
Okay. Based on
name
that
of your
experience, Your Honor,
section is somewhat
I would ask that he
self-explanatory,
be
like,
allowed to render an
was in the
opinion
murder section.
about what
I
he observed in this
investigated
home in terms of the ransacking or
homicides.
lack of ransacking.
They did.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, sir, I'm showing you what's been marked as state's proposed 105 through 117.
I'm not putting that one up, John.
She has just the greatest idea and then just goes dark with it
Yeah.
instantly.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah, it sure did.
Google
Do
clearly.
those fairly and accurately depict how the master bedroom appeared that evening?
They do.
State moves to
Don't do
admit 105 to 117.
No objection.
Okay, 105 to 117 again.
Thank you. And just to orient on our diagram, this area is
Always.
the master bedroom.
Yes.
Okay. Sir, I'm putting on the overhead what's been admitted as states
She
105.
does.
Let me-
She's very opinionated.
What are we looking at in that photograph?
So this is looking into the master bedroom from the hallway. The bed is located there where you see it. The door opens inward and to the left. And
What are
there's
those
some
lamps?
drawers that were in a little
Those are
box
maybe
that was
the most
hanging on the
awesome
wall,
and/or
lying on
hideous
the
lamps
floor.
I've ever seen, and I can't
And
figure out
this,
how I
I'm
feel
gonna
about
zoom in
them.
on this dresser.
I either love or loathe them,
Um,
and I can't figure
The
out
dresser
which.
that we see, kind of more, well, I zoomed in on it. in the
They're so
photo.
Is-
weird.
Those
looking.
doors appear to be pulled out a little bit.
Is it a stem?
When you,
It's supposed to be like a flower.
your career, when you have responded to
They are quite-
other burglaries
they are
and
ugly.
home invasions,
I can't tell
is
if
that
they're
how
know.
a
too
dresser
phallic or just
typically
not
appeared?
phallic enough.
Objection. I think this is vague, ambiguous, and calls for speculation.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He's
been a long
noticed as an
day.
expert, he said he has responded to hundreds of burglaries and home invasions. I'm not sure what else.
Well, he can testify to what he saw in those photos, but whether or not the jury determines whether or not this is how this should be, or whether or not this is ransacked, that's a jury question that they can answer.
Okay, but I think the question I asked was, in other burglaries and home invasions, did the dresser drawers appear like this?
He can answer whether they appeared like that or not, but he can't make a conclusion as to why that is.
Okay, so in other burglaries and
Yeah,
home
you
invasions
could have
that you've
a mid-level
investigated,
steak
would-
restaurant in there.
the appearance of these drawers be consistent with what you had seen at those other crime scenes?
That was the first time I had seen drawers lined up that perfectly and not pulled out to the point where you could access the contents of the drawers or the contents being on the floor.
Now I'm gonna put on the overhead, this is states 108. What area of the master bedroom are we looking at here?
This is just inside the doorway.
What's
Okay,
the
and you
plane?
mentioned that there were some drawers from the jewelry
I have no
box
idea
or
what
a
is
jewelry
going on
thing
in the
hanging on the wall.
decor of this
Yes.
house.
And those appear to be on the floor.
I just,
That's correct.
this is all scaring me.
This is states 109. Let me back up just a little bit.
There's so much I can't put on screen.
I know.
What are we looking
Why
at in that
is-
photograph?
This is that box that I was talking about that was hanging on the wall next to the door.
That's a, I give up.
I'm putting on the overhead now, states 110. Different
Remember the big
view of
TVs
that
from back
same
then?
dresser that you were just speaking of.
Weighed a ton.
Yes.
There's also a television in the
God, a
in
big
the middle of the
box
photo
TV.
for better identification.
That's
Correct.
like a
The
32
cabinets
inch.
below
That
it don't
was
appear
big.
to be open.
Yeah.
This is states 111.
Yeah, it's a pattern carpet.
What are we looking at in that photograph?
It's a bag with some clothing items in it that was sitting on the floor next to the television.
Bag obviously not dumped out.
No.
Drawers on the lower part of the dresser not pulled out.
Correct.
And so what?
This is
If you knew
states
the money was in the top
112.
drawer, the two top drawers.
Another view of the master bedroom.
Yes.
The cabinet, well, let me zoom in.
On the
This
back of the
room
bed.
is deeply
Do you
unsettling.
see disturbance in sort of the headboard
What is-
backing
why do you need
area
all
of
that? Oh wait, no, that's a.
the bed?
Yes, the cabinet door is open.
The drawers below it don't appear to be pulled.
Sorry. Why do you have a mirror behind your bed?
I know. That's what I was saying.
That's never a view you want of yourself.
Well, also, I feel like it would
Even
get
unless you're
broken
narcissist.
really easily.
This is the most. Yeah, I don't know what, and the drapes.
And I like this pink color, this baby pink color.
Oh my god, this
Lib-
just is that a waterbed? Guilty.
Liberace would be
It's a
proud to live in
waterbed
this room.
too.
If
Jeez.
that's
No,
a
no.
waterbed,
It's not a waterbed because it
Oh.
looked kind of like it was a fold-out bed with some
it's a
wheels.
Murphy bed. Oh my god, what is wrong with these people?
I'm just baffled.
This looks like the 80s threw up and never left with Laura Ashley as like an afterburner. What is wrong with these people?
It's
I thought they were cool back in the day, waterbeds, but not like as an adult.
I mean, yeah, like I don't. What is all of this?
I'm not even sure it's supposed to be near the bed because the bed looks like it's one of those fold-out beds you had when the family came over.
Yeah.
I just think it's bad, and I can only see two things when you can use that mirror. One of them has to do with dogs, and the other one has to do with cowgirls. And I'm not sure people looking like them should ever watch themselves.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know that would help me get into the mood more as like, oh, that shouldn't wibble. That definitely shouldn't wibble. Oh, this is a terrible angle.
Yeah.
Oh,
This lighting is horrible. Yeah. No, maybe if you're young and kind of in shape, but when you're in your 50s and kind of old and then let yourself go.
Lefty,
I
I want to
wouldn't-
make fun of you so bad right now.
Well, is that-
So many
They are
things
not.
you should have never done.
it does. Yeah, it does seem like there were some choices made, Lefty.
This is states 115. Let me zoom back out.
Yeah. Those
Just another
drapes
view of
are
the
ugly.
bedroom. Is that fair?
That's correct.
Satin drapes.
And you put on the overhead states 117.
Lefty, how old are you?
Sort of the right side of
million?
the bed as you're facing the bed.
Yes, that was another drawer that was pulled out,
This
but it didn't
Baywatch
appear that anything in the
Um,
drawer had been disturbed.
poster is really cool though.
What?
Lefty's.
No,
Oh,
you,
Lefty's
Lefty's.
Baywatch poster, on the ceiling is
you
really
said there was
Next to the
We'll
Arnold
go back
Schwarzenegger one
to-
from Commando.
yeah,
states 214.
and the Camaro.
Writing it the same way. Looking at 214.
Yeah, it's a mix
There
between a
is a
14-year-old girl and a
bedroom
90-year-old
Kind
grandma.
of office
Yeah.
area right as you enter the house to the left.
Yes.
Did that
Oh my-
room appear disturbed to you?
I don't believe so. I really didn't pay a lot of attention to that room. I mainly focused
Well, I'm
on the
glad you're
other
not
ones.
paying attention to a crime scene, sir.
Yeah, you didn't focus on that room because the other room fit exactly to what you believe happened. How many times have we talked about this? We just look at whatever fits our idea of the crime.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may. Pretty sure you may.
Well, I'll allow it.
Oh my god. Okay.
Okay, I'm showing you what's been marked as states proposed 123 through 135. Ask you to just look through those and tell me if you recognize which room that is.
And now he's going to see something in that room that, yeah, I was really suspicious about that because it didn't seem like it would be like that. And I have been to more than 100 crime scenes.
You know, in fairness, it's better than the chick we had on the Austin Ford case who had been on for 2 weeks after being bounced around 4 different
That's the
places.
office.
Or the one in the Travis Root, no,
128 to 135.
Travis
Oh, I'm
Rudolph,
sorry.
the Florida case. Did you look for it? No. Why not? It's not my job. Well,
Yeah,
you're
no
the
one
lead
told me it was
detective.
evidence.
Yeah, it's not my job.
No objection.
123, 135, what are you admitting?
Yeah,
Now,
he
it
seems
was in this
really
room that
stuck
Mr.
up.
Randolph explained that he was able to recover a gun that he later used to shoot Mr. Miller.
That's correct.
And do you recall in the interview where it was that he said he got the gun from?
He described it as a shoe rack in the closet.
I'm putting on the overhead what's been admitted as states 123. Does that depict the area that he was speaking of?
It does.
And can you just kind of point to the
Why
jury
is
where
everything
the
pink?
shoe rack was hanging according to him?
Right here.
Why are there borders? Dear God, my
And so
mom.
he explains that he recovers a gun from that area
Oh,
and that's
90s
what he
children and
ultimately
hoarders.
uses to shoot Mr. Miller.
And a clip.
90s. I put those up in my
And then
first kids.
I think you testified earlier that he describes
But those
sort
were
of the
Disney ones, and he was a
physical
kid.
bumping into each other
These are
in
grown
a
up.
doorway
Yes,
Well,
with Mr. Miller.
Oh,
before
and
he
the
shoots
CD
him.
rack.
correct.
Is that doorway depicted in this
Oh.
photograph?
Yes,
Jamie, you're too
and
young,
that
too young to remember
doorway
CDs.
is to that long hallway between the garage and the master bedroom.
correct.
Now,
Is
were you
all of-
aware
I
of
don't
whether or
understand
not
what
there
this was
was
trying to be.
prescription medication in the residence?
I was aware there was.
Do you know if any of that appeared to be taken, or would that be a question for Detective O'Kelly?
That would probably be a question best addressed to him.
Okay.
His,
In the,
his shirt collar
uh,
is a little tight.
Description of the encounter that Mr. Randolph gave you on the 9th of
Listen,
May.
he's retiring in
um,
6 months. He's not buying
did
a new
he-
suit.
Describe whether or not that door leading from the house to the garage was open or closed prior to the time he shot Mr. Miller.
During the initial interview with him, he described it as being closed, but then he opened it after he retrieved the pistol from Mr. Miller.
Lefty, are you
Did
a
he
million
talk
years
to you
old?
about what hand Mr. Miller had his
He's
gun in,
grandma.
meaning the gun of Mr. Miller?
I believe he said the right.
Okay. In describing his actions that
Carol.
night, did he explain to you that he attempted to render aid or resuscitate
There's
Mrs.
the little
Randolph?
dogs
He
in
And
the bathroom.
he said he kind of flipped her over.
tiles.
Ducks on
Correct,
them.
following the directions from the fire department operator.
Okay. When you were speaking with Mr. Randolph at homicide, did you notice whether or not his clothes appeared to be heavily bloodstained?
I did not.
Did you see any evidence of bloodstaining at all?
I don't recall seeing any. There may have been some small blood stains, but I don't recall seeing them.
Okay. At some point after the 9th, does yourself and other detectives ask Mr. Randolph to do
Have you
what's
heard
called
about
a
the
walkthrough?
internet?
Yes,
Who
I know,
arranged
It'll
that?
be big.
I arranged it
And how did you do that?
by telephone with Mr. Randolph. I believe Detective O'Kelly and I may have also spoken to him that night about doing one, but then I followed up on the phone with him.
And I probably should have started with this question, but what is a walkthrough?
So a walkthrough is where we take a witness or a victim of a crime, and we basically have them on videotape and audio recording walk us through the sequence of events that led up to the incident and then things that happened following the incident.
And was there a particular time or day selected in order to do the walkthrough?
We arranged to do the walkthrough at approximately the same time as when the incident occurred. So I believe we scheduled it for somewhere around 8:30 at night.
To kind of mimic the time that the incident occurred at?
Yes.
Okay. And who from homicide came to the walkthrough?
So it was myself, Detective O'Kelly, Detective Wilson, who is Detective O'Kelly's partner, our Sergeant Albee, and then I believe we had Don, I can't remember his last name, our videographer from the police department was also there.
Okay. So there were some detectives from homicide, a homicide sergeant, and then a videographer who works for Metro.
Yes, and I believe a couple crime scene investigators showed up at some point.
Okay. The videographer is just someone that you call up to kind of assist with doing the walkthrough?
Yes, Don Bell.
Okay. So you got the name. Did all the homicide detectives drive there and sort of get there ahead of Mr. Randolph?
I don't recall if we got there ahead of him or as he got there, but we all arrived there separately.
Okay. And then ultimately Mr. Randolph arrives?
Yes.
Do you remember how it was that he got there?
Drove. I believe he was with his brother.
And so he arrives with his brother.
Yes.
Who greets them?
I do.
And do you introduce yourself to the brother? Or, I mean, Mr. Randolph already knows you, but.
Yes, I would have introduced myself to him, and then I would have explained to Mr. Randolph what we were going to do.
Okay. And the purpose was for him to kind of walk through within the house what happened, what his version of events was between himself and Mr. Miller that night.
Yes.
And that recording was ultimately sent to the DA's office in the defense.
It was.
Your Honor, the state moves to admit and publish 317, which is the walkthrough.
Objection 317?
No.
Okay, 317.
So now we're going to have the walkthrough.
Okay.
This is going to be interesting to see the house with our own eyes.
I know. That awful pink color. Come on, get a good picture of it. Let's go.
Yeah. Take him off the screen. He's not important.
We don't really care.
What you do is
Hit
just-
that.
I want you to
Here.
give us your name, date of birth, social security number,
He looks stoned.
your address here, and then explain to us what your understanding is of what we're gonna do here.
My name is Tom Randolph. It's my understanding we're doing a walkthrough of the house, kind of a reenactment of what happened last Thursday.
It's your desire to come out here and do this for us, like, so we can get an understanding of what was going on.
It's my desire, not my desire, but I'm cooperating with you.
Okay. And you came out here on your own free will, right?
Correct.
Doesn't he look stoned?
Yeah, he looks something.
The driveway about when I start to make the curve, about right. About there, we start opening the door up. I will stop because there's not enough room for both cars to get in there. We can't get both cars in and get both people out. So I stop the car. Sharon gets out. She had the steak and lobster from
Fancy.
Charcoal Grill or something. So she gets out, closes the door. She goes on in, starts walking in. I give her a little bit of head start, get to the door. I start pulling in.
Yeah, he looks like it took all of them.
By then, she's pretty much got in. I may not be able to get the car in at all because of the people moving the car when they clean, but I'll try.
She's already in the house.
She's going in the house about right now. I'm not gonna be able to get out of the car, so I'm gonna have to move the car over. I can't get out. Well, I actually start shutting the door as I get in. I would have already shut the door. It would have been coming down as I start getting out. This is about how close it was that night, so that's probably. This is it, just going in the house. Now, this door was closed. I open it up. I get right here, and Sharon's laying in the floor, face down, her head's just barely in the bedroom with that. And I stopped right about here at the door. I said, Sharon. And I seen
Oh gosh, what's the name of that other show?
the bag from charcoal steak or whatever, and it's really a bright red. And this hall light wasn't on at the time. So just about like this, and I turned the light on myself as we got in. And I could see that red thing that was up underneath her, and I thought it was blood. I thought that was blood then. And I started getting nervous about backing off, and I actually came to the door, and I touched it, and I stopped and put it back down, because I thought, I was gonna go get a neighbor, and it took something like that. About right here, when I was like this, I was trying to kind of get a view. I thought it just seemed like a shadow or something over this way. And I remembered that there's the 9mm right up here, because earlier I'd taken all my guns, put them in a suitcase, was gonna take them to Utah, switch the guns around. I reached right up here, got the gun, and as I got the gun, there's also an extra clip. There's a few up there, but got the gun and the clip. Right, normally it would be right in here. And I still, I was trying to be attentive to what's going on out there. And like I said, and I'd already started to run, and I just reached up just like that, grabbed it, stuck it in my pocket, came around just like that. About that time, he's right up on me. Just right up on me. We actually touched right about here. And he's short. And when he gave me an elbow, but as we came around like that, I was kind of coming out. I was actually going to try to be slow, and look out, but it just happened too quickly. He came up and he kind of banged into me about right here. And he went over to about right here, and somewhere along here, I bit my mouth or something, trying to say something like, what the fuck, or something. And he looked, kind of like, I don't know if he was looking here to see if there was somebody else or what. And there was he had on a sweatshirt, and I don't remember if I seen the handle in the sweatshirt, if I seen the handle in his pants, but he was doing something, going for something down in here. And as we got up in here, he kind of rushed up on me a little bit, and that's when I pushed him, boom, boom, boom. He started going out toward the shed. I don't know how many times I shot him, but I just kept right up on him. Boom, boom, boom. And he's just laying there. I look back because I'm trying to make sure everything's cool. And I'm stepping back like that. About that time, I heard a really, really loud noise. And what had happened is, I guess he hit the refrigerator and the fire extinguisher. The fire extinguisher fell down. I didn't know what it was, but it made a loud clunk. And I was kind of, like I said, I was kind of looking back because I don't hear well, but I can't tell depth perception, anything. And when I heard the noise, I was kind of, like I said, backing out.
Yeah.
Kind of trying to make sure there's nothing else going on. And when I heard that noise, it really did scare me. Except the door didn't come down. It stayed just like it was open.
He is
And I
like the
actually
better
got
Chuck
close.
Norris.
And I don't know if I shot him once, I shot him twice, and then started coming back down this way. He wasn't moving. Some noise. Come back down this way. I mean, real, just, Sharon. She's not there.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at her being dead. I'm laughing at her yelling. Him. Lord.
His little perm.
Do what? I'm just kind of trying to see if anything else is going on.
I have to agree with Mass here. This is a rehearsed story, and I'm not. He's not selling it that well. I would just have to say, but again, I just kind of like when I watched Jodie earlier today. I feel like this comes off less than 100% truthful, but yeah.
He didn't add any matrix pauses.
Also, if he wasn't planning on killing Mike, but he ended up killing Mike because he didn't want any loose ends, like it'd be different if like he already talked about it with the guy and, oh, you're over here and this and that and that. But it's like how do you, I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
but again,
You
yeah,
know
as
what I
Matt
mean?
say, he might have been sitting there saying, "Well, I have to tell them I was here, and then I was
Mhm.
here because
Yeah.
yeah, maybe." And I when I saw the picture, I thought it was the door he's standing by now. He said he got the gun from. Because they said, well, the only shell casing they found inside the house was by the door. That makes
Yeah.
totally sense now. Where he saw where said he shot him.
Mhm.
well, and the fact is that if you're redoing this the day after, I'm surprised I can tell you certain things that happened, but almost the entire year after my first husband passed away, I mean, there's kind of blanks there. So the fact that he's going through and he's like, "Oh, I did this and I ninja kicked him and I donkey punched him,"
I
and
mean,
like, and there was and and Chuck Norris and
Yeah,
Ben King,
Sharon.
and I noticed he was shorter than me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I would have
too
been, my
many
heart was
details.
racing. I had, my I didn't know if I was shaking and I just shot. Like that's what I would have said.
Yeah,
I know. I'm trying to hold off because, like, we do that a lot with, we're like, it's
Well,
too many
yeah.
details. It's not enough details.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
I'm
yeah,
trying to be open-minded, like, and
yeah. But again, this
but
is
it
the
is.
first fact we have seen,
I know.
and I just and was it the day after? I thought it was like 8 days after, but I could have
I don't
misheard
know.
that.
He is also
Well,
looking very, very high.
Yeah,
So,
he
also,
looks
if it's so far after, I mean, that would make more sense to me because he's had time to go over it in his head over and over and over and over again.
just like the biddies who made up the stories.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what day it is. But the way his eyes were, when I take the muscle relaxers, my eyes looks just like that after half an hour.
You did.
So
well, that, and if he is of the personality type where he likes to embellish, he likes to be the macho
Yeah.
guy, then of course he's going to add, the Chuck Norris, Jason Bourne stuff. So maybe he was trying to look tougher in front of the cops and instead it bit him in the ass, and now he's dealing with all his vengeful exes.
Well,
So
yeah, and now
karma
he's
really
like
is
got
coming back to
a cool
bite him.
story. And he's like, all right, yeah, I did this. Oh, I rounded the corner and I peeked around, like,
yeah,
yeah.
it's kind of like the Lopez thing. I was special trained for this. No, you were a medic. You didn't. Well, let's
Like,
get
there's
back to
nobody
this.
around. And I came here, and then I started going here, and Sharon's laying right here.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
And I think I turned this light on then, turned that light on.
Yeah,
And
I
I did
know.
not go in there. I
Fight
don't know
about it.
why. I did. She was kind of in the way here, and I could see stuff all over there. I mean, stuff. These boxes. There was some clothes. The drawers was open, but she was laying here, and by then I could tell she was hurt really, really bad. I mean, the blood was just. Then you could see thick blood. And I came back over and I went to call 911. When I came back over, I didn't have my phone, and it keeps falling off of me. I come back through here and.
And I have to say it's 1.25, so he's walking a little faster than he would be in the video.
Just kind of, just didn't know what to do. Just kind of looking around.
And he's very.
And I dialed 911 and the phone didn't work. And I
Like-
was saying, fuck, what a time for Bonnie to go out. I stuck the phone in my pocket. And I thought about Sharon's cell phone. And I looked around because sometimes she sits it on the purse, on the table. So I don't know how long she'd been because I was for
That's a
a minute,
big screen
like the door
TV.
went down, listened to the song, looked on the table, came back out.
God, I was weighed like a
Come
million.
through here, it's right, actually about right here. I take it back about right here. I tried 911 again and it was busy. When I called 911, it was busy. So I said, good, it's not Varnish. And I got back over here where I could kind of see everything. And I called 911 again, and that's when whoever said 911 said, slow down, you're breathing too hard, slow down, whatever. And what's the emergency? And I don't remember for sure what I told them, something about my wife been shot. This guy's tried ripping me off. I shot him. I think she said, did you shoot your wife or something? I don't know what all was said. You guys will have to get the tape that, I don't remember. But just said that you had shot really bad. We need paramedics out here. Had to hurry. She told me not to hang up the phone. Asked about the guns. I think she asked about, was there guns in the house? I said, yeah, there was guns in the house. Yeah, I think then that's when she put me, she said, I'm gonna, don't hang up. She told me 2 or 3 times not to hang up, but, she told me don't hang up, but she said, something about she's gonna put a paramedic or a medical person or somebody on the phone now and listen to them. And I said, yeah, I'm sure she did. So I told her the address. I think maybe that's when she told me to slow down. I was too excited or something. Well, I'm assuming I gave her this 165-17 Rancho Santa Fe Drive. But, I may have said it wrong. I don't know what it does. I do remember once she told me to settle down. I was too excited or something.
Yeah, all those
And
money.
anyway, the paramedic got on the phone and he says, so what's happened with your wife, or describe your wife or whatever, something to that effect. And I said, well, she's been shot. She's bleeding a lot she's on her belly. She's bleeding a lot underneath her head. I don't remember exactly, but I described basically whatever was going on with her. And that's what I remember. She was bleeding under her head. And that's what I said. And I told him I had taken a pulse and I could get a pulse. And he said, you've already taken one. And I said, yeah. And I believe that's what happened. He asked me, and I said, yes. And he says, okay, now listen close. This isn't going to be, he was basically telling me it was going to be yucky. I don't remember the words he used, but he said that we needed to take care of Sharon or she was going to die. And it wasn't going to be pleasant, is maybe what he said. And I said, that's okay, I can do it. Let's just do what we got to do. And so he told me to roll her over. And I went over and I guess I had this phone still. So that's what he said, keep the phone by you. And I went over and it seems like he told me to lay the phone down now and roll her over. So he said, keep the phone by me, don't hang up. But I got down like this now this is the bad part. And it was bad then, but it's really bad tonight, so it may not be exactly like that. But I laid the phone down something like that. I said, Sharon, I'm trying to get her to respond in some way. And told her that she wasn't responding, and he said, you're gonna have to roll her over and do the chest compressions. And I said, okay, and so I tried to roll her over several times, and I couldn't get her over. She just was too much weight for me. It was hurting me. I remember
4 wives now.
running and trying to get her over, and I told the guy, I got him back on the phone, I told him, it seems like I told him.
He is talking
I can't
really
get her
fast.
over. I said, because she's just too big. And then I says, wow, this is really freaking me out. I says, I don't think I can do this. I says, the other guy is just down the hall, and he's got a gun, and he shot my wife. He tried to shoot me, or I think he said shoot me, but he might have said fight with me. Tried to shoot me, and he's just laying in the garage. For all I know, he could get up any time and shoot me again. And the guy says, okay, let's take care of that. He says, get up. He says, you got your gun? I said, yeah. And he says, okay, get your gun, get up very slowly, walk toward the man. I think he told me not to hang up. And I know when I started to get up, I pushed like that, because I remember it left the blood thing somewhere right here, trying to balance myself to get up.
She was a little chunky, but he has a bad back.
She was probably.
Excuse me, I had it either in my pocket.
Sorry.
She was probably 220 or something. He could have rolled her ass over. He didn't want to.
Yeah, and but again, if let's do what Jamie did. View it in the light most preferable, most
Fine.
the
He
best
was
light
weak.
for him. I tried to work English speak.
After his Chuck Norris,
Yeah, but
it tired him out.
You were looking at your wife who had just been shot, and you're devastated, and there's blood everywhere, and you just don't want to touch it. You and you're running on adrenaline, and and painkillers. Yeah, maybe, but would you try to save her? I probably would, but again, we're not him. But
Yeah,
And
true.
also, like, this man's had a lot of people die around him. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how that would change a person to where you're just like flat to everything, or like, oh, it's not that crazy. Seen this before, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's just like another urn.
Yeah,
That's
like,
why he's like
good thing
just
we bought those
let's get
urns.
this out of the way.
and,
What
and
color you
again,
want your-
there's not that much space to roll her over.
No,
It's a really
true.
tiny house.
And yeah, like, he looks like he's weeble wobbling everywhere. So
Yeah, he is. If the cops with a straight face try to say that he was stone cold sober during this interview, I am going to call all the shenanigans and hijinks on them.
right.
Yeah,
They argued that though, which is good.
yeah, and
No.
Yeah.
and they will probably ask him on cross if he noticed that he seemed intoxicated because he seemed intoxicated. And again, I don't know which medication he's on. If it's the upper kind, that could explain why he's talk. Is it oxy that's an upper?
Oxycodone.
I
Yeah,
thought it was.
We'll just
It
relax.
depends.
yeah. But there's some of the painkillers works as an upper too, I believe. I don't know. I don't do drugs.
But that makes sense too with like his demeanor. If he's drugged up on just like painkillers and he's just his effect is just, psh, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And Gigi, you know you never have to stay if you're feeling bad. Please go and get better. That's the most important thing for me. It's we will be here another day. The most important thing is that you get better. I really
Yes.
regret that you try to hang on with us and you feel worse tomorrow. Go and lay down or whatever you need. And thank you so
Yes.
much for watching.
Yes.
And if someone, I know Gigi did it, but if someone haven't tickled the like button, it would be really appreciated if you did. Because I have 62 viewers and only 40 likes. So, and I hate when YouTubers talk about that, but we are supposed to do it because that
Yes.
shows people interacting with the stream.
Well, and it gets your videos out there for everybody to see. And who
Yes.
doesn't want to see our beautiful faces?
I know.
No one wants to see my face, but everyone wants to see you two beautiful ladies.
You're the star of the show, Baker. Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of the painkillers, if you go for more than 30 minutes, like back in the day when you can take the from the Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh,
Lutz. What was it?
Quaaludes.
Quaaludes. Yeah, if you could fight through the first 30 minutes, they changed so they became an upper instead of a downer. So maybe if he's on pain pills all the time, he could get really funny. Any downer can get your adrenaline kicking, so can have and I have the same when I take my muscle relaxers. If I don't go and lay down, that's the problem when I try to finish the stream. Then I get through it and then I can't sleep. I'm not really up, but I just can't sleep. So it's not cocaine.
No.
Don't do cocaine.
In my belt loop, something. I took the gun, kept looking back. I tell you what, too, about this time, and I did not tell you that, but about this time, I got anointed and I went in the shower and I just went like that and backed off, except it didn't do that. It went back in. It just kind of went, because I started thinking there was somebody in the shower.
What?
And that I didn't put in the report. I remember that later.
What was that shower curtain?
I didn't. And go back down the
There
hall.
are so many floral patterns in this
Your house
house.
decor is.
And the guy's talking. went to the light because it had went off. And he's laying right here. The hood, I don't think the car was this far up. I think the car was a little bit further back, but he was laying, yeah, it was definitely further. I park all the way over. When I park, all the way over against the edge, because if you don't, you can't get out. And my car will stop right there, so I can get out where those buckets, where those, that JVC thing is. That's as far as my front end will go, and then I can get out after that. Sharon backs, or pulls in about where she's at, and we can get in. Just had a little more room that way. And that night, the car was a little bit further back. The truck was a little further, I think, this way,
Okay.
and maybe a little further back. But anyway, he's laying right here, and he had on a sweatshirt, and I think he still had on the gloves, as far as I remember. But I do remember the ski mask was right up here by one of his hands, sort of, or by up here somewhere. And there was sacks like this. And he got in the car, there was sacks that was in the trunk that he was, because he said he had a date. And my briefcase was in the trunk. It was one of the last things I did before I leave.
Your brief?
Was get my briefcase out of the trunk and throw
What do you
it
got a
in
briefcase for? I
You
thought
don't
you
the
were.
insurance car. I always lift the
Like,
seat
what do
up,
you
stick the bag underneath the seat and then close the seat down
You don't
so
have
nobody can see
briefs.
it.
That's-
Because apparently somebody will steal my bag with
I
my
have
medicine and my
questions.
money in it. And I'm talking to the guy and I said,
Why
"Don't
do you
see
have
the
money
gun."
and
I says,
a
"There's some bags of
briefcase?
stuff here." I says, "There's
Are you
my
a drug
bag."
dealer from the
I
80s?
says, I'm into bags, and he's got one of my bags, and it's the bag that is in there on the living room table. That, I think it's a Walmart bag. And he says, "Well, find the gun.
I find
It
him
has to be
guilty
in
just
there."
for the shirt.
And I remember reaching into the bag and feeling around, and I stuck my finger. And there wasn't, I didn't feel the gun in there. Like I said, this was a little further back, because I went around over here, and I was still keeping a pretty good eye on him. I walked around back in here and had room to get through
Yeah,
there.
some people
looking for the
react
gun. And
different.
that's when I seen the fire extinguisher up
I
on the
can't take
tire.
Benadryl.
and
Benadryl makes me
realize,
hyper.
I mean,
Most people it
the
makes
weird-
sleepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some people who get the Ritalin for the ADHD, they can't do it because they just it has the opposite effect. They get even more hyper. It doesn't mellow them out. So we don't know what it is. I just thought his eyes looked like he was either drunk or high as hell.
Well,
The
they claimed he
funniest
was.
things pop into your head.
Sorry,
Oh.
sorry.
Oh, I said they claimed he was, so you're not wrong.
Yeah, and but again, now we have seen it that he looked like he was really intoxicated.
But I realized I just shot this guy 2 times because the fire extinguisher fell down, but that's just
Yeah.
how it happened.
He's trying
And
to
I went
put too
over
many
here.
details in. That's
Looking to
That's
see
not
if I
good.
could see the gun, and about that time, the timer went off on the garage door.
as far as I understand it. It's because this guy, he claims that the bags are the same he put in the back of the car with his briefcase, and maybe this Michael guy knew about it or something. I really didn't get that part. Not just because I'm not that bright, but he's talking really fast.
Mhm.
And it just went black in here. And
Me
it
too.
just scared the living hell out of me. So
Get really
I
sick
got
on
back
morphine.
about right here and just kind of stepped real big because I knew he was over there and turned the door back on. Turned back around, told him I couldn't find it. He told me it has to be there. If he had a gun, it has to be there. Carefully roll him over and see if it's there, or something about rolling him over. And I just put my foot on him and up on the shoulder and kind of pushed on him, and he kind of tilted that way. And when he did, then he kind of went like this, and I reached down right here. Let's see, if he was laying this way, it would have been this hand. It would have been this hand, because he was laying something like this on his head, and when I pushed him over, then his hand dropped down, and it was right here under his hand. He wasn't holding it, it was his hand was right by it, he was holding it, I'm assuming, but he wasn't holding it then. And I picked it up by
He talks like someone who did a line or two.
I picked it up by
He talks like my 7-year-old when he tells me a story
brought it
that
in
makes
here,
no
told the guy I
sense,
got the
but
gun.
it has a lot
He
of stuff
said,
in it.
throw it, put it somewhere.
And then,
In another room where it's safe and lock the door. So I locked the door. Said, this is a lot faster. This all is just going really fast. And I remember seeing,
Don't moan like that.
I'm assuming it's these things. And this has been moved because I don't even remember if this was in there or not.
I
I know it wasn't over there, I'm sure. But it was either here or laying on here. I think it was on here. And I threw the gun. I got just about to right here. And I just threw the gun like that. I don't remember if it stayed up on the top, if it fell down in the garbage can.
No, this is at normal speed.
I went back down
I
here
feel
to
like
my
I have to
wife's.
take it down.
Got
No,
back to where I was at.
So
Told him everything was cool.
Why do you keep going down on your
here.
knees when it hurts?
And
I know.
God, stop making the moaning
shook
sound.
Sharon again, talked to her.
But I have a really bad back sometimes, and the last couple of days it's been hurting me. If I go down, it's just to lay flat on the floor to try to relax the muscles. I don't go down and up when my back is hurting me like this. I would just have said, well, I went on my knees here. I pushed him here. He's trying to reenact how the guy lay on the floor and stuff like that. It seems, I'm sorry to say, he seems like a coked up 5-year-old, like Mass said. No, Fedorowski said.
I love that when everyone comes in, it's like, look, I don't want to be mean, but is that a man? And we're like, yes, in fact, that is.
It's a man with a perm.
It's purporting to be a man.
Yeah. And he has a perm.
And I said, she's still not moving, but she's bleeding really, really bad. And he says, that's why you've got it. She's going to die.
Winosaur,
Do this.
this is the crime scene reenactment, and he's doing all the parts, and he's doing them real well. And no, it's not sped up. He is talking this fast.
Now, something not going to be unpleasant. He says, now put down the phone and roll her over and then talk to me. So I remember from CPR and stuff that you got to do the counterweights or whatever. So it seems like I lifted this arm, kind of lifted her up and pulled this arm under and one of these knees sort of over.
Exactly.
I just had to jerk her. It wasn't like a gentle, loving thing by any means. It was like, and about the third time it jerked enough that she got up, kind of straight.
Why are we making these
noises?
No, not in
And
that
she came
position,
over
sir.
and
Don't
it
make
was
those noises.
The grossest
No.
thing I had ever
Baker.
seen in my life.
blame
And
you
my
for
wife
this.
that died of a heart defect was pretty gross.
Those
But-
noises and saying it was the third jerk that came when she
really
came over.
thick, blonde
Already had to
stuff
deal with a man
coming out of the
dog
mouth.
thing.
And I don't know if it was blood, I don't know if it was some type of matter. And
Salbert.
Sorry.
remember the box was under here and it was slick and I tried to push the box like that back, trying to get the leverage. And there was the another gun laying right here. And I picked it up.
How
and I
many
don't know
guns
why
are
for
in
sure
this?
that
Well, never
I
mind.
was gonna check it to see if it was loaded. And I don't know why, because I know guns better than this. I don't know revolver that much, but I pushed the revolver button of the cylinder drops open.
No, Farrell,
And I'm
because
thinking
you'll clip
like
it.
Safety button or something. But anyway, I just pushed
And I
it.
won't talk about
I could see
jerking
the
3
cylinder
times.
was starting to come open. So I just closed it back and just threw it back, just dropped it right there. And started doing the chest compulsions, compressions. Got him on the phone, told him what was going on. I reached across like this, took her pulse one more time. no pulse, and pulled her blouse up, and I went up from the sternum or whatever is the way I was taught to do it. I went up where the sternum is and then put you go up one fist up and then one fist over it.
No,
And I
three
know the
fingers
whole
up.
time I'm probably crying and yelling, Sharon, God damn it, fuck, Sharon, fuck, talk to me, something like that.
This is the
And,
worst
I'm doing the correct
late night
chest
Cinemax thing
compressions,
I've ever watched.
and
I
then
demand a
I kinda
refund.
thought, maybe I'm not doing these right, I'm kind of doing them like a wild man.
Worst Red Shoe
So
Diaries
then I
ever.
started
I demand a
1
refund.
1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, and I'm really just getting tired. And every time I push
See you,
on,
Vinosaur.
blood just
Ha' en god
oozed
aften.
out. Just oozed out.
Hi.
And I did that for, it doesn't seem like it was very long, maybe 10, 20 compressions on my own, and then maybe
Okay, so
15 where I was
Yeah,
counting
that's-
1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. And
All the thousands.
I told the guy, I says, I got a bad back, and bad neck, and I says, I just don't got too much left in me. And he says, the police are here, go let them in the front door. Just go let them in the front door.
Give it the old college try, sir.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. There you go.
And I got up, and let the police in the front door.
No, this is the worst
And I
part
don't remember what I did with
yet
the
for him.
phone. And I just came right in here.
But here's the thing.
And what's weird about the door, and this I do not remember for sure, but
It is what happened. It's just we have to find out if
it seems like when I undid the door, that I did it all right.
It's just-
I looked to make sure the buzzer was off, and then I realized it was too dark, so I turned all these lights on.
It's just all these details.
And
Maybe he
turn
just
them
wants
off
to
again
make sure
I had all the
all
right
of them
ones,
in.
'cause
I don't
one of
know.
them works the floodlight, one of them works this light, and one of them works the porch light. But anyway, I turned them on and off again, make sure I had them right, and
But
I unlocked
still,
the door.
when he stops, it seems kind of like when you're drunk and trying to tell that story you almost remember. And you stop in the middle and go,
He's just. The
the porch light.
I mean, but we do know that guy Mike shot Sharon and he shot Mike. But we just have I want to see that. I don't really care about this, to be honest with you. I want to see the evidence that they have that he planned it.
Yeah.
Because even if he's telling this elaborate story, it still doesn't prove he planned this whole thing. To me,
No,
that's just,
and what did they tell him how you do a crime scene walkthrough? Did they say try to reenact it as closely
Yeah.
as you remember it and tell us every single detail? Because we have to figure out the timeline. We have to try to understand what happened.
Yes.
Then
Exactly.
he could have been sitting at home thinking, I have to say this, I have to go there, I have to do this. And we don't have that conversation on tape.
No.
So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and the pain meds, the defense mentioned the pain meds in a hearing, a pretrial hearing. So they will probably get into that this is kind of an interview with an intoxicated man. So how believable is it? I would think that's the defense strategy.
Yeah, I mean, especially if if the defense can show, and I hope they can, that he has a tendency to brag and embellish when he's
Yeah.
drunk, then I think that will go much better for him. I mean, but he might be the type that doesn't want to admit to anything sort of not complimentary to his personality while drunk or while sober.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying too. We don't know him as a person to where, okay, when he's telling a story, is he being as elaborate as he is right now? Aw, good for
I
you.
have to Google tasty cake. Yeah, and
You suck. Now I want tasty cakes.
and again, maybe it just means that he has been sitting and really tried to remember every detail because the police officers has told him it's really important you get as much detail into this. And as Mo said, he seems like a guy because he didn't want to react when allegedly didn't want to react when the biddy told him asked him about the sports team when he didn't have his hearing aid in. He just said rah, rah, rah. And he could be a man who wouldn't like to admit that he's maybe a bit frail.
Yeah.
Because that's just because you can't see your legs.
Got to, and by then the cops are yelling, put your hands up, whatever. And I think they must have had some type of lights or something, maybe just car lights, but it was really bright in here. And I did the same thing on this.
Yeah.
But it was like I locked the door instead of unlocking it. So then I had to go back and do it again to come
I've been
out.
taught how to do it.
That's
and
the only
I
thing
couldn't
really
tell
weird I remember is that
how to do it. Like I don't know, in a crazy situation. I've had to one time and I was like, I was so scared.
Oh yeah, I would.
Yeah, and I was with my dad when he had his heart attack, and I froze. I remembered the part when I was sitting and holding him at the floor because he couldn't stand anymore, and we was just walking into the doctor's almost the doctor's office. So there was a doctor with me, and the doctor tried to contact him, and I just remembered, even if this is the last thing he's going to remember about me, I slapped him so hard in the face to say, "Wake up! You have to," because I know you have to inflict pain to try and kickstart them back if they're starting to slip. And then when the doctor started doing the where you really try to make pain on the you rub your knuckles on the breastbones because it hurts like hell. I just everything went out of me, and I stepped outside. I couldn't be there anymore, and they did the compressions and everything because I couldn't do it. And I've been trained in CPR. I know how to have your arms firm and push through, and it's better to break the breastbone than that people die and all that stuff. But because it was my dad, and he just passed away. They got him back, but I couldn't do anything in that moment. I just stepped outside, and I was just standing there waiting. I couldn't. My mind went numb. I can't tell you if it took a second for the ambulance to come, if it took them 5 minutes to put him in the ambulance and drive to the hospital. I can't tell you. I just know that the last thing I did to my dad was slap him in the face and said, "Listen," and I can't tell you if I did it once or twice or 10 times. I can't remember. So again, if you have been told, try to remember everything. Maybe you fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
I thought that I had unlocked the door, and it seems like I locked them.
Of
and
course,
then
you'll
unlocked
make
them.
my
And that don't make any
story
sense to
about
me,
my dead
'cause they
dad.
should just been unlocked. I mean, it should have been. I should
Sunburn.
just unlock them
Do I
once rather
have to
than.
come over
Just
there?
Just
And I
sounds
may have already
sunburned.
done it once. They just didn't unlock
Yes.
it.
He's worse than
In
Sal.
my mind, it seems weird to me. It seems like.
And
I
thank you for doxing
locked
my
them
last name.
rather than unlock them.
Oh,
And then I just
well,
went
I didn't know
outside
that was
and
a last name.
cops grabbed me
I
and
thought
just took
that
me
was maybe
down,
like a
took
Bert
my
to
money,
you
took my
guys.
clip, took
Yeah.
my gun,
And I have
See,
yet to
us
hear
Americans just figured it was a
took
nickname.
my little
major
pill bottle
cases identity
thing.
hidden from us.
Yeah.
took my
We don't know how to
keys,
read other
everything
people.
I
We
had.
barely know how to read our own
They
language.
We
checked you,
can't even say
they
names
checked
correctly.
You could
I was just gonna say
Mass
this kind of
Master
stuff make me
found me on Google in 5 minutes, so everyone can find me. You know everything you need to know. My city I live in. I used to be a politician. What my first name is. Now you know my last name. You can Google me in 5 minutes.
You said that you had gone into the room and you picked
Baker,
up
I
from
like
the
you,
shoe
but
rack,
I
standing in the
have
closet,
barely
and
the
it's a
and clipped in.
Yeah.
Sorry.
the Baker, I like you, but I have barely the skills or the inclination. So you're good.
Yeah.
I will never
right
dox you.
here, right here.
Have you met Farrell?
Farrell knows where everyone is
Surprisingly, she
and
just left
where
you
we.
alone.
Well, I went
She's a
right
good
here
lady.
to the door. No, I just, when I came in here like this.
Something like that.
Okay, I thought I seen something right there. Something just like that. God, it stuck it in there, came back right about that, about.
Yeah, there's a lot of details.
Yeah.
Okay, stand right in here.
And even
Thank you so
closer,
much,
about
Tootly.
big, some up here.
Okay.
Okay, and then he then comes
What's
in
that?
like,
You mean like I'm facing you now?
he's more like going out, but he's looking, he's looking at him.
Well, the CC is still going, so it must be the court that messed up the video. And I can see movement on this screen. The reflection is on. Hey, Donati. I hate being on hold. Just call us back when you are ready. Yeah, it's not a great experience, but I'm glad I was with him, that I didn't have to go and find him. So that gives me comfort. Yeah, you found it within my first 2 streams you were on, I believe. So and I don't appreciate the depicts in my
No, I just, when I
mailbox.
came in here like this,
I
decided,
think it's
okay,
too
I thought
big.
I
You
seen
shouldn't
something right here.
be sending me pictures
Something
like
just
that.
like that. God, it stuck it in there and came back right about that,
Especially
about
with
right
little
there. He's
hats
about
on.
right where he is.
The googly eyes makes it pop.
And even closer, about where the pig.
That's funny.
about here. Okay, and then he just kind of comes in before I come out.
Facing you like I'm facing you now?
He's more like going out, but he's looking, he's looking at me. He's looking at me.
But he's making his motion to work towards.
Oh, and
I don't know if he's
my
making
last
his
name has like
toward the door,
17
more
people.
toward just
So
coming
you can
around
find me.
this way. I'm just saying he wasn't that far. He was about right here.
I
Thank you.
could barely find Waldo.
And he's going towards the garage door.
He's,
Looking for
I don't know
other
if he's
people.
going toward the garage door. He's just going to right here, because as far as I know, 'cause that's where we met.
Just if you could, not me doing it, if you could explain his actions for me, you could just kind of show what you remember him doing.
He just came up, just
I
coming
think
up
the
right
phone's gonna
here,
ring in a
where he's
minute.
just about right here. And I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he's doing, because I just turned around and got this and turned around and right there he was. There he
Not
was.
what was in his head, what was he physically doing? What were his movements that you remember?
Just about, well, that was about it. He just walking like this, and he knew, I think he knew I went in there. I don't know if he seen me go in there or what, but what he
You
did,
see him do it, you could just repeat his movements.
it's like that, just kind of,
So he stepped into the doorway and squared off on you?
yeah,
Okay.
more of a, about there. Yeah, maybe about right there. He was looking for first. I thought he was looking at something, but I guess he was just looking through me.
You guys are just a few inches away from each other.
Just a few inches away, and he's going. I had just come down with the gun, and you can see my gun. I have the gun, and he's doing for something. I don't know what he's doing. He's either getting a gun or got something, because he's doing something with his pants.
He's facing this way, and he's got both hands or just one?
Just one, but I don't know for sure.
It's stamped in your memory, and I'm sure that you're never gonna forget it.
Okay, so now they're asking him to something that is stamped in his memory, and it's clear that he's out of his mind.
I think it was this hand. He was.
Well, Twisted, I wasn't going to say anything about cousin effing that the closed caption said.
Well, he had both hands down, because one hand, one
To
was like
Baker's
this hand,
channel.
and then came up with, and cut the other hand up like a defensive move almost.
He did?
Yeah, well, he was just getting it up. I don't know if he was gonna push me or what. It's about, I don't know that anything was said. There was something said like "fuck you" or "oh fuck" or "fuck this," because I remember saying "fuck" a few times.
It's a versatile word.
Like
I'll
that,
allow it.
I just, just shit. I don't remember. I don't think he did. I don't think he
So
did.
he steps up in here, and then he turns and he squares off against you, and then what do you do?
He just about like that. That's it. Then he moves on down here. Moves on down here.
He He didn't come in on you?
Nope, he didn't come in on me. He just, well, maybe a little bit on me, but not like we was gonna fight. He was more, and you know what happened, when we came in like this, you sort of like this, when we came out like this, I don't know if he was, because he's looking for his stuff, and then with this hand came up, and I thought he was gonna push me, but I think what he did is did the mask, because somehow it seems like maybe his mask came up a little bit.
Alright, so he lifts his own right arm and takes.
I don't know that for sure. I'm just trying to just come around. I remember we may have just touched here a little tiny bit.
Where was he in relation to you when you fired the first time?
Maybe right there.
So now is he going?
No, he's turning toward me still. He's still,
Shuffling, how's he doing?
nope, he's still trying to dig, he's still digging out. He's just like this, just digging out, and I'm kind of coming. I'm just coming at him. I'm gonna shoot him.
Okay,
There's
he's
no,
already here and he squares off on you, how did he get there?
he seen me, then he just turned around, just kind of, no, he wasn't running. He was backing the whole time. Keeping an eye on me. Kind of. He's keeping an eye on me. See where I'm going.
Okay, so now he's gotten over to here and he's still squared off against you?
Pretty close, I think. I just started shooting. Yeah. I just started shooting. I don't know if I fired the first shot. I just shot.
Straight up? Squared on you?
Don't know. I think he's still facing me. He might have been a little more. No, I don't think so. I think then I may have already shot him when he put the gun up, but he's more maybe kind of like that. Seems like it was like that, because it was just like, it was close. It was pretty close. Might have been a little further back.
Against the wall?
Yeah. And then he
No.
sent it toward the door,
Never heard that name.
and that was it.
Alright, so show me his movement from the time that he came up here, back here, where you first seen him, show me what you saw him do. Oh, back here. The door was closed, though, right?
No, door would be open.
I am a baker.
I closed the door after.
That's why I'm
they told
making
me to
bacon
get down and
spears.
Close the door.
Well, this is before all that's happened, though, because you're still confronting him.
Right. And I have the door, when I came in and seen Sharon,
Oh, you-
I have the door.
This is the carpet?
yeah, I stood here from this Sharon. Called at her a couple of times, and I actually started, like I told you, I pushed the garage and then stopped because I was actually gonna go get the neighbors. And I thought, you chicken shit, go see what's wrong with your wife. And I closed the door back down, and then it just like that,
He said
came
it.
up here and about right here. I just thought, no, this ain't cool. And started going in to get the gun. And like I said, just as I started to go in here, I don't know if he went in, if he came out, if he jumped across, and it just out of the corner of my eye.
You did
But
say
I think
chicken
he was
shit.
hiding. I think he was in that bedroom and he just stuck his eye out enough that I could just see him in the drum room. Yeah, I think so. Just enough that I could see him and just out of the corner of my eye. And that's what I just got scared. Just got scared and I said, fuck it, I know there's a gun in there. And I thought, there, just grabbed it, turned around, and he was coming down. I think he was running. I think he was probably gonna run away. And and right around in here somewhere, we actually kind of bumped into each other just for a split second.
Okay, but if he's running towards that open door.
Well, I don't know, he was going toward the door as much as maybe he was coming toward me.
Okay, so show me what you saw from the moment you could see him, after you get the gun.
I almost ran into him.
Right.
Okay, he's coming down here and it's like he was looking to see if I was in there for sure. I don't know if he was like thinking maybe I'm just standing here waiting to pop him if he goes by. But he is kind of like just like this. And I was right up on him. Right up on him.
Until you see him.
Actually, I came forward. A little bit because we made contact, but that's when I bit the side of my mouth. I thought I hit the door or something. It was just from contact. I might even have maybe I might have pushed his mask up because I'm taller when we came in here.
Well, you'd be pushing it down, I mean, short.
Pardon me?
You'd be pushing it down, not up, right?
Well, I'd be pushing kind of sideways. I wasn't like knocking it off or anything with my hands. I think just body movement.
Right, Tom, so
And
if you-
I'm thinking maybe it caught his vision.
You've gone into the room, you retrieved the gun, you're coming back out, show me his movement from the time you see him until the time he goes down. Repeat that for me, you actually do that movement.
Okay, I'm coming out about the same time too, and about right here, we hit. And he's coming down just like
You first
this.
see him, he's there, he squares off on you.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, then what happened? With him, just his movement, not yours.
I kind of like that, and I was already shooting.
Okay,
Already shooting.
So when you first fire,
Interesting.
he's right in this area.
Yeah, probably, maybe,
I mean,
maybe a little more that
If
way.
you
maybe
see
a
an
little more
intruder in
this
your
way.
house, you're not going
Because
to
I
wait
kinda
till you see
just-
the whites of his
Where
eyes.
do you think he hit?
No, but he was grabbing a gun, and then the other guy ran down the hallway, and they hit each other, and then he started shooting.
Just kept going.
But there would be
So
some
after
holes
you
in the
fired
wall.
first time, does he stay squared off on you?
No,
Or
no,
does he turn and go?
no, he's
True.
going,
Okay.
and I'm shooting the whole time. Seems like maybe about right here, he actually gets turned away from me.
Okay, so you fire the first time, now he stepped. Go ahead and repeat his movements for me, whatever you remember.
Wherever we're doing something here, and I
Never
don't
heard
know if I hit him, I don't know if that's when he got his gun out, if he just said, fuck it, I'm running, I don't know what the deal was. It seems like I shot him again, maybe like about
Not
right
yet.
here.
I'm going to change
He
it
started
legally.
turning like this toward the door. And I shot.
We're crowdfunding it.
Empty the gun, I don't know.
How many times do you think you fired before you got to the door?
As many times as I could. I don't know.
How many times do you think?
I think the gun holds 8, and if it had one in the chamber,
That's 9.
it's 9, and I don't remember it staying open, so it had to be 8 or less.
Okay.
But
So then what happens after he's now he's squared off against you, you fire the first
I
round.
fired once or twice, fired again.
And as he's going out the door. you
I'm
fire again.
firing.
Okay, and then
He is, by then I'm here, he's down, laying, falling or laying down, I don't
how does
know.
he land, face first?
I think he does, because well, maybe on the shoulder, but kind of his head turned down.
From somewhere on his right side, you're showing?
Kind of like, kind of under his hand, but like that, but laying down. Because the car was to the back and he's
Oh God, he's gonna lay down and show him.
Why are you
I
making
pushed
him
him
get
over
down on the
here.
thing
So
again?
you don't stand on the right side and you push him further over?
right to find the gun, the guy told me to. But I shot him before that again. I was standing right around, probably about right here. And then this is all almost the same continuous motion. I'd already shot him and was coming up and he was down and kind of, doing whatever you do as you go down. And about that time, it's kind of scary. About that time, I had stopped shooting for a minute because I thought that's it, he's done. And about that time that the light went off, it was up. And that was there was the door. That fire extinguisher sits over here. I think the fan sits up. Anyway, this fire extinguisher, when I remember seeing it, was under my car, like that. But my car was further down.
Stop it.
The fire extinguisher
Stop
fell, and that's what the
groaning,
noise
sir.
was.
You're gonna ruin
Wonder
sexy
twice I
audiobooks
hear
for me
it.
forever.
Once or twice, I was still in here.
I have heard German on
He's laying.
that's dubbed better than this.
Almost head and body kind of this way, and his legs over here, one hand there, and that's about it. No, wait, his hand would have been up underneath here, so he was kind of laying like this, and laying like this, at first. And when the noise came down, I shot 1 or 2 times
Tony, yeah,
along here.
maybe
It may have been once, it may have been twice. Pardon me?
Stop the stream right now and go to your local hospital and pick up a 72-hour hold for that. If you experience this for more than 4 hours, go to the other emergency room.
this is a you problem.
I think so. I somewhere around in here.
So you can see his head at that point? You
I
can see
do.
his face? How was his head in relation to the floor? Was it facing down at the floor? Was it facing up towards you? Was it facing out to the side? To the
Yeah.
west?
Working the sausage right now.
Yeah.
More or less down.
Yeah.
We're watching a murder trial, and all we think about is how this man grunts like a German porn movie.
Oh, now I really want sausage rolls. Damn it.
Did you tell it was my kid?
I know this might,
Sausage rolls and a dirty book.
is his chin, but I don't know if he had his mask on then. It seems like he still had his mask on then. It happened really fast, I don't know, but it
Was
seems
that
like.
mask on you?
Yeah, he had his mask on.
Sir, if you're going to make up a story in your head,
But I
have it
know
all
when I came out,
together
his mask was over
before you
here,
tell
I
other
think.
people it.
I don't know. I ain't gonna say that either, because that may have been some of the shit he got out of the house that was there. I don't know. I don't know. So I really don't know. I was scared.
When you're back here and you square it off on you, still have his mask on?
Yeah. But I think when we ran
Well,
into each other.
you
I
go
think
down
maybe
some
it
strange
tilted
rabbit
a little
holes
bit, and I
sometimes.
think that's what he was trying to do with his other arm, was it'll see.
Listen, we
This is
tried to
kinda
prove
acting like they didn't know what he was
Australia
doing.
exists.
And I just think that's scary. But then I start thinking he may not have been
And
able
we
to actually
accidentally
see
put
out of where
Austria,
he is.
and then
Just out the-
things
out of the
happened.
eye holes or whatever.
Okay, and when you went between him now turning and you continue to be shooting and him going to the ground, he still got his mask on.
I think so.
Because you couldn't tell who he was.
It's kind of the grandparents getting out of
I
the
don't-
sofa,
When you say
moaning.
in the hallway, if he had his mask off, you didn't know it was Mike, right?
Oh, yeah. I was still shot. It wouldn't matter a bit. But, I
Exactly, Tony.
really don't know.
So then, after that, after he goes down, you're standing there, the fire extinguisher falls, and you shoot him
It's kind of a reflex.
in the head.
I think, yeah.
I want to
Just
see the
kinda-
transcript that just says
Kind of a
groan,
bigger area up in there.
deeper
'Cause it was kinda
groan,
crunched up.
extended groan.
And I walked around in there and tried to stay out of the blood and stuff, because the guy told me find the gun.
He didn't have anything in his hands, right?
In his hands?
Right, did he have anything in his hands here?
No, he was going for something in his hands.
Oh,
It is, I don't know if he was going in his,
The pocket?
yeah, that he had on sweatshirts with pockets. I don't know if it was one of those that go all the way through, if it's one that just had two pockets that zippers up.
He wasn't carrying anything.
No, he didn't have anything in his hands. He was going for something either in his pant loops, in his pocket, down in his pants, something, you know.
So the.
I wasn't really paying attention to what he was grabbing at. I was paying attention to killing him.
But the,
Okay.
so the bag and stuff, that was already out here.
Okay, Rambo.
The bag of jewelry and everything was already out here.
Sure.
Yes.
With the grocery bags that had his clothes in.
I guess it has clothes in, but I don't know if that
Earlier
was.
in the day, you saw him.
Yeah, earlier in the day, yes, he had a date. He said he had a date. That date because he wanted to borrow more money again.
And when you dropped him off on Rancho, was he wearing that sweatshirt? Remember him wearing the sweatshirt and the pants with the bleach stains on it now, and the cowboy boots that your wife?
Yeah, the meds are probably wearing off. He's been going for
I can tell
an
you,
hour,
he'll tell you what he was wearing as the guy.
an hour and a half, something like that.
The cows and pea place that sells motorcycles and ski-doos, because they spend a lot of time with us.
The guy? Oh,
The salesman.
Oh, while you guys were there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Spend a lot of time with us. I shot at him a bunch of times. I don't know how many times I hit him or what, but it was pretty close.
Yeah, especially these first.
Yeah, or he will be asleep on the floor.
Step forward, you're probably inches away, right?
I think, it seems like on the first one, I kind of almost stood back a little bit, but I'm just not sure.
On, your wife, when you came back.
It was a 9mm he shot him with, I believe. That would go through him, wouldn't it? Into the wall?
I mean, it depends on what he hit. Well, he hit his head. Depends on how close. And
Yeah.
well, and if he hit him in the garage, because you would I would think fall down if it hit you through and through.
Yeah.
I think I was lifting more by her shirt. And
Maybe there's something in the garage.
Yeah, and David, you are missing a almost 60-year-old man groaning more than a German naturist movie.
her
Nature.
leg, like material in her leg.
Hey,
A hub
Irish.
person, if you
And I
will.
only got her up and
Hi,
then kind of
Iris.
just balanced against her, then
Hello.
pulled again. I mean, I jerked. It wasn't a lift of any kind.
Where
It
was
was
her hand released?
right there, right there.
So just like maybe 5 or 6 inches inside?
Yeah.
You didn't pull her this way?
No. But she's just too
Did
heavy.
you ever lift her up and then drop her?
No,
There wasn't a point where you stood strapped over the top of her, and lifted her up and then dropped her back down?
no,
Okay. I mean, trying to
no,
jump her
no,
over, trying to
no,
lift her
no,
up.
no, no, no.
And when you first came in the door.
Always watch the CC because they make up better stories than he do.
I know one day I'm just going to read the closed captions to some of these trials because they are
I think it did,
hilarious.
like her body, like funny heart rates, but I mean funny. And I thought she'd hurt her hip. She'd been playing with her hip, had been catching. She wears these patches on her hip, and she'd been playing with her hip caught. And I thought maybe she.
Eat
And I'll
it.
tell you what else too. It's crazy, and I'd love for her to do it right now. But she believed.
What's Baker in
6 or 7
Spanish?
pair of shoes out. I don't know how many times I've hurt my back getting up in the middle of the night trying to be quiet.
As a proud graduate of high school Spanish, I should know this.
Motherfuck, Sharon, Jesus. She'll have 6 or 7 pair of shoes out. Just, it's like she booby traps the place. And that's what I thought. Maybe she had tripped over her own shoes and fallen.
This guy.
How do you normally, you keep them like that? Or do you keep squared off? Like when you start in the
I always say that when I fall on the floor. I blame
does.
Sharon too.
Why does she move them?
Yeah. Oh my God, motherfuck, Sharon.
I'm gonna start blaming Sharon for a lot of crap around this house.
You should. Just start yelling.
Mr. Mose,
Mr. Mo's just running into the room. What? What's he calling
Sharon.
you? What's he calling Sharon?
And we're like this heifer who always craps things up. This guy was gonna get away with murder. Then she just screwed everything up.
Why do they have doormats in all the rooms?
And this one always goes. They
Hell,
always
I don't.
say, I don't know why,
Baker, has
they
any
always
one
say
thing in
every
this house
single
made
place.
sense thus far? No.
Well, what
The
is
Get
answer
ready
that?
for
is
the
no.
moment.
What room is that?
And this, the 38 revolver, you keep where? You show that?
This is down. Matter of fact, I don't know who closed this. This was down today.
Oh God, his dad set in. He's like, the thermostat was on.
It tweaks me a little bit too.
Because that's me in our
Or
house. I'm
maybe
like, who
Mike
the
or
hell
Colleen did
touched
it
the
when they wasn't
thermostat?
here, but I didn't think they got in this
Put
far.
on a damn sweater.
But that's where it says, and the reason he knew it was here is because you see this, Sharon had part of her disability is due to she can't see well. And one of the times we was fighting and I decided I was leaving, she says, fuck it, I'll just paint the house and get a renter. And apparently she just went gung ho and decided to paint that day. And there's 2 or 3 places here and
What?
over here and over here,
What
and
are we
there's some in
talking
the other
about
room
now?
that don't match. And Mike was needing some money.
I
and
No
just
some
realized
one-
I'm
money.
having an odd.
No one wants to paint. There ain't no way.
He says, how about if I could paint
You guys,
them?
I'm really
He's off.
realizing I'm having an off day,
20
but is
minutes.
this making sense to you
And he
guys?
went up there like this to show me, and I didn't have these 2 in at the time, I just had the one in. And when he was showing me, it pushed over and went on an angle, popped open. Oh, now I know where you keep that one. But he knew where they were anyway, because we went shooting or tried to go shooting a couple of times.
No.
Yeah, I don't think he was stupid.
I'm confused. What did this story have to do with the other story?
That's why I'm saying he's just mixing genres all together, I swear.
This is the gun safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Mike knew the gun was there because Sharon had tried to paint the room and she couldn't see, so it didn't match up.
Oh.
And Mike asked if he could get some money for painting the room. And then it popped open and he saw the gun and said, "Hey, and now I know where you hide it." But he knew it anyway because they went shooting. That's the story. It doesn't make sense.
thank you, Baker.
But that's what I got out of that. What?
Because I was all the confusion.
Well, here's what bothers me about the cops too is like everybody just lets him go. It's like just ask him what you want to know and don't let him just like talk all
Yeah.
the time. How are you supposed to even how do they even put two and two together?
I'd be like, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. So where on this and I
Yeah.
love tangents unless I need to get to a point, and I'm like, let's stop right here.
I do
What
that all
does
the
this
time.
have to do with anything
Yeah.
that we were trying to get a hold of?
I'm like, I don't want to hear about that. We're talking about this. Let's go back to this.
And why is everything pink in this house? I just noticed the dresser is pink.
Sharon had a lot of issues.
Sharon loved that.
That dusty rose.
Yeah,
Dusty desert rose.
Oh my God.
And why do you have doormats in every room? It's
Baker,
I'm
I
never
don't think
going
has
to the
made
US
sense
again.
in that house.
Maybe it's the what are they? What kind of floors are they? Like the ceramic floors? Maybe that's a thing with ceramic floors.
No, but they have carpets in all the rooms.
Oh, I thought they had the ceramic.
If you had them on the ceramics, no, I wouldn't understand because you take your shoes off when you come into the house.
The man gets a
Doors,
perm.
if
I
you
mean,
did that, if the cops did
is
that,
anything going to make? He has a drum
did
room.
that.
I mean,
Oh, the
I mean,
DVD collection.
We put them up there a little nicer, but
Oh, geez.
it wasn't like that when we went through. Are we getting close to done? My back's starting to hurt.
From the time you park the car.
We're starting to lose steam.
Yeah,
He's like,
he's coming
okay.
off the high he was on.
Called to Sharon to see what was going on.
I need to take a break. Let's take a nap and we'll.
And then you got near the door. You saw
Yeah,
some
just
movement.
pop some pills and
You
get
shoved
going.
in, grabbed the gun.
I'll reload.
You get back out. He's right adjacent to the door already. And you square off and have a confrontation. You shoot, boom, 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 boom. He goes to the ground, fire extinguisher falls, and you end up firing one time. And then after that, you come back over and check on Sharon.
I cleared the rest of the house, sort of.
A quick check to make sure that
Not like you guys, not like LP, but Metro did. My God, if she'd been shot in the toe, she'd bled to death.
So
I don't understand that still. It took them forever to come from here.
Then you come over here and you kneel down beside her and you check on her and you go call 911? Or did you act right after you get done with the shooting to be called 911?
As soon as I got them, as soon as he was down, I came and checked on her and checked her pulse, tried to move her, and then I could see that the blood was really, really bad. And
What do you
when I called 911, I tried to, and that's when I thought the bondage was down, because it goes down a lot.
How long do you think it took you to get up with the bondage full?
I was checking, before I did the bondage, before I checked her.
Bondage.
I was kind of checking these rooms out a little bit to see if there was anybody else in them. And
That's before you called 911?
yeah, and that was maybe 30, 40 seconds, maybe a minute. And
Hey, you.
yes,
Hello.
How long do you think?
Oh, good morning, we should probably say.
Yes.
I didn't get a hold of one. I got a hold of 911.
Get through it.
2 minutes, because it was busy, and then it rang through, and then she got me. But,
So all told, how long do you think it took from the time you opened the door to you being on 911? you had mentioned before, you thought it was a lot quicker than obviously walking.
2-3 minutes maybe.
Yeah, but I don't put too much in
I wasn't too
this.
concerned about the
He was checking the house. He
because I
doesn't
could
know if
see
it
all
was
of
2
it.
minutes or 10 minutes.
And I'm thinking that the green light was on, because it seems like I could see the light coming through behind the door on the couch. You know,
Is that the thing you're going to get the phone?
yeah, that's what I'm talking about, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, is I'm gonna get the phone. There's nothing in the living room. Once I come around the corner, there's no place to hide in the living room. When I went into the other living room places, and that's where I sleep, because my back is on that couch. And there's a green floodlight that comes on at 8:30. And I think I'm seeing that green floodlight, and if there had been anybody hanging up there, I mean, stand up in that corner with them, I'm able to see the light, so I don't even think I went in there. I think I just maybe pulled the door, pushed the door to see if it,
2-3 minutes stop.
yeah. And a lot of that was just waiting for them to answer, waiting for them to react to
Yeah,
it.
you took that out of the way you were talking about a minute. Well, you took the lives problem and getting through the 911, we're talking about, it's quick. Did you tell me
2 minutes maybe, 2 minutes.
2 minutes from the time you open the door to the time you?
Almost done. And then it's lunchtime.
Might have been a little longer than that, because I checked Sharon. I tried to start doing Sharon as soon as I knew Mike was down, there was nobody else in this immediate area. And then it dawned on me that I don't care how good CPR she's hurt, because, yeah, when I tried to turn her over, just blood just oozed out. And then I did the 911 thing. And that took a couple of minutes, but it wasn't very long. It wasn't very long.
We have, senior crime scene analyst here, Brandon Fail. And what we're wanting to do is these spots are more pronounced on the walls now because it's been a little bit of time. They spread out a little bit. He has a bridge.
Will they come back to anything, or do we go to lunch right now?
Lunch recess. During this recess, you must not discuss or communicate with anyone, including fellow Jerry.
They are going on recess. Will they be talking? Nope, it's off. So that enactment.
Did they go to lunch or did they take a break?
They went call it recess, but it must be lunch because it's almost 1 o'clock Nevada time.
Oh, wow. That poor jury. They had to deal with all the groaning. I'd
Yep.
have laughed. Let's be honest.
And I feel I'm interesting to see how the defense is going to clean this up, because this wasn't good for him. He was too rambly. The certainty about when he shot him in the hallway, when none of the shots hit the wall, I'm not sure that's a great explanation. But the two cases, cartridges that he found out in the garage, well, if he shot him out on the doorstep and he walked out and he's shuffling his feet, he could kick them out there.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me so much. I mean, I need to see like text messages between him and Mike, or what have you, weird, checks like this is $400 for painting one room, or this is $3,000 for something.
Yeah.
But
exactly, because the story, there's so many factors to it. He does look like he's on medication, and maybe that's his personality, where he embellishes things, he exaggerates, he tells these elaborate stories. I mean, he pulled 6 women. Maybe he's got some stories under his belt. I don't know. Maybe he's a chatty Cathy. And then, like, this did happen. I mean, the guy shot his wife and then he shot him. So it's not like, you know, that he's saying, oh, there was this guy in the house, but they don't know where the guy is or something like that, you know?
And I just had a poll. Did you hit like? And 65% said I always do. 27% said Sharon, and 7% said never. Sharon, please hit the like. You're the 7%. And funnily enough, 7 is his IQ too. And I think you're misremembering. A Boston crab, you lift the legs up and sit on the back. The camel clutch, you lift the head up and sit on the back. So it's different parts of the body. And I don't think the Iron Sheik did the Boston crab. The Boston crab was Jericho uses it, and didn't Benoit use it? No, he had the crippler. Oh, we can't mention him either. Thank you for taking him off my hands. He will be moving to Australia tomorrow.
You got a new roommate?
Yeah,
I guess
Søren is moving
so.
to Australia. Hate to see you go, but I won't miss you.
Soren,
Oh,
tell me how you get to like Vegemite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please give him all the Vegemites. Oh, and I got 2 new subscribers, so now I'm only 5 away from 500.
Yay,
It's
come
getting
on.
close.
Come on, guys.
If there's 5 people that aren't subscribed, please do.
Yeah, and Fed, we have to watch some really old WWF tapes to see that, I believe. So play nice. EU don't want you to come to Australia if you play like this. Well, I need 1,000 before I get monetized, so I don't know if I'll do a 500 celebration. Maybe I'd bake something or something.
Should.
Yeah, but we cross that bridge when we get there. The most important thing right now is making Søren go to Australia and put him in a room with a dead adder and a black spider. No, what's the spider thingies? The funnel web or something. But everyone, this was kind of an interesting.
Snake Island.
Yeah.
Søren's going to Snake Island.
Yeah.
We'll see ya.
And everyone, thank you so much for watching along today. We'll probably do the same tomorrow again. I do the morning, Sal do the afternoon. Hopefully my lovely ladies will join me. And as Farrell so nicely shared in chat, you can support Jamie and her lashes. She's getting lashes done today.
Yes. It is the most important day of the month.
It is like Christmas.
Yeah. And if you can chip in, I would greatly appreciate it, because she makes this stream what it is. But we couldn't do it alone. Jamie brings all the beauty and all the giggles and all the intelligent comments, but we need someone to point out how awful the decor was in that house.
Hi guys, it's me, Mo. I know they didn't have any phallic-shaped children's toys, which is what I bring to the party, and or Sailor Moon. Come to Mo in the Deep End. I'm here. We do court, crime, current event, and shenanigans with a little bit of heart thrown in there somewhere with sarcasm, and I will see you there.
And yesterday someone wrote me, where do we go and stuff like that to see the next part of the trial. You go to Salvador Dali Talks. I hope this is the right one. It's fixed in the top of the chat, so you can just push it, and then hopefully Sal will be going online at some point. But or else just I should probably take you down when I'm talking.
It was
Or
cute.
else go sub to Sal, and then you will see when he goes live. And everyone, We'll see you tomorrow, and thank you so much for joining. Even Søren gets a thank you for joining, and see you when you see you. Bye, and thanks for now.
Yes.